is running out. We've got 5 laps to go. Huffman and Vincent battle it out for the lead. Meanwhile, Chad Cole dukes it out for second as they go into turn 2.
Landon Huffman coming to a comfortable lead, coming out of 2. He's got about 8 car lengths, put it half a second. Over the wing business is Chad Cole.
And the winner in race number 1 of the chase for the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series Championship and the Marvel Racing Lady $400 will be Landon Huffman in his Chevrolet 65. Huffman goes to
You're live.
Welcome into the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series this evening. After a 2-week holiday break, we are back at it. Homestead Miami Speedway. Little bit of a venue change from when we first saw the schedule earlier in the season. Tim Terry, Mike Conti, Dakota Ehrman here to call all the action for you, and Sean Wessling pushing all the buttons to get us going here this afternoon and this evening, wherever you may be watching us. Mike, it was originally New Hampshire Motor Speedway, problems with that racetrack, and then when we had the rain out, per se, at Homestead Miami, had about 34 laps completed at this venue earlier in the season. Server crashes, we do not get to complete the event. It's a favorite among the drivers. We're back at Homestead Miami Speedway for what is hopefully at least half or the full race this time.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Tim. We did have a quote-unquote rain delay here the last time we tried to come here with about 100 to go, and yeah, a lot of drivers do like this venue, and that's really the sole reason why it's brought back on the schedule and replaces New Hampshire. New Hampshire in its current state really doesn't produce the best quality of racing. Yes, it is another short track. You would think that it'd be similar to the racing that we saw at Richmond when we went green all the way through, but unfortunately it's not. Tonight, I'm sure we're going to see a lot of green flag racing. It's another one of those multi-groove tracks, a lot of room to move around and kind of work the lines, and you can search the track to find where your car is good at. So if you're not quite right in the bottom, you can always move up, and the drivers just love having that freedom, and they'll put on a great show tonight. A lot of guys before that winter break were starting to come on strong. You had drivers like Adam Gilliland, who won at Richmond, getting his first win of the season. Chad Lawton got his 4th win last week at Dover, the last time we saw the series run at Dover. So that's his 4th win of the season already, and Chad has a pretty decent lead in the points over his teammate Jared Crawford. But, if you look back at the stats, Tim, it's really been Crawford who has had the consistency over Lawton. So if Lawton slips up just a little bit tonight and Crawford bangs out another top 3 finish like we've seen him do for quite some time now, it could be Crawford's championship lead once we leave this race and go to next week's finale at Charlotte. So anything could really happen tonight, and I'm looking forward to see what comes out of this race.
You look at his stats, and I'm talking about Jarrett Crawford. You have a pile of seconds and a pile of third-place finishes there. In most series, when you look at that at let's say, 6 races in the top 3 out of 7 races, you're thinking, yeah, he's definitely the guy to beat. But when you have Chad Lawton lighting it up with 4 wins this season out of 7 starts, it's really hard to beat that. And you look, their stats are pretty close to being the same. Their average finish is 5. You have Chad Lawton leading in laps completed by 1,037 over 1,036. Jarrett Crawford actually has led more laps this season, 240 compared to 205. Their stats are pretty close, except for that number in the win column. Chad Lawton has 4, Jarrett Crawford has a goose egg.
And we've seen in NASCAR how important wins are. We saw it in the 2011 championship battle between Carl Edwards and Tony Stewart. They were tied at the end of the season. They both had stellar chase performances, but Tony had more wins than Carl, thus, he was crowned the 2011 champion, and Carl had to settle for second. So right now, if we do get to the end of Charlotte, and we do have that kind of situation where the top two are tied, it's going to be Chad Lawton, and it can not be taken away from him because of his wins and because we only have 2 races left. Crawford can't surpass him with wins. He can't even tie him. So really, Crawford's got to kind of hope that his teammate has a little bit of misfortune, maybe have an off night this week or next. But those Wheelmen guys, Tim, we've seen them the whole season. They're always strong each and every week. And when one of them is strong, usually the rest of them are strong too. So, if Crawford's up front, most likely Chad is, and vice versa. So we're just going to have to wait and see. And it's racing. Anything can happen. Chad can have an electrical problem. He can get involved in a wreck. He can have a pit road miscue. Or, same thing with Crawford. He can have problems too, which can completely change the outlook of this championship. So, we'll just have to wait to see what unfolds tonight. Guys like Adam Gilliland back there, you think, well, he's in the top 5. Maybe he still has a shot at it. He's not racing tonight. He's suspended because he had too many incidents last week at Dover. So Adam is going to be another story tonight. He will most likely fall out of the top 5. Danny Hansen, I believe Jake Sturgis back there, Joey Brown, Carson Downs are all going to benefit from this because they're immediately surrounding Gilliland in 5th spot. So that's definitely going to be a big difference tonight. And then the top 25 race. We're down to 2 races to go, Tim. The top 25 battle is tighter than ever, and I think we should look at that right now.
And before we do leave this top 5 battle, I want to mention that Adam Gilliland was the driver that was leading at Homestead prior to when we had that quote-unquote rainout. So tough for Gilliland. He won't be able to, I guess, defend per se what he was building up. Kenneth O'Keefe is also suspended in the top 25, has a Class A license. He has 197 points. With the 1 drop, he should be safe if he comes back next week. I'm not sure how many races he is suspended for, but he will not be racing with us here this evening. Keep in mind, the bubble position right now, and actually there's a tie for 24th at 139 points between Josh Connors and Rob Ackley. 6 points ahead of him, Andrew Fayash III, and Josh Lawton is only 8 points ahead of the bubble position right now, and really with only 2 races to go with the 1 drop, Brandon Cattell, Alex Chambrone are up there 154 and 153 points, respectively. Your bubble, keep in mind, is 139 in 25th place. I have a little bit of a discomfort right now if I have 2 races left to go. We talked about that bubble being 139. Brandon Schmidt right now, outside looking in, 137. Now, Dylan Duval, 134. Second suspension of the season. Duval is not racing this evening. This could very well end his NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series, and he got dinged for a wreck last week between himself and Derek Crone, and it was one of those wrecks, Mike, that I think we called a couple of weeks ago, and I know it's been a little while, that almost looked like it was, Crone's fault, but Dylan Duval got the blame on that one, and it's a tough way to go out, but more than likely his NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series season is done for at least your top 25 in points. But Brandon Bookberger also has 134 points. He's in it to win it. He's looking to get into the top 25 in points, but he's still got a little ways to go, 5 points behind the bubble. Yuka Savalainen, he's 9 points behind the bubble right now in 29th place. Paul Kashiba with 126. He's 13 points back. And then you got guys back here, Jarl Tyen, Kyle Gatula, Vinny Sansone. They have some work to do to get up into that. I think we look back to Matthew Moose, Benjamin Burmeister, and on back through the field here. I think you're pretty much done. I know Pedro Mojica said he's coming back to race tonight, so we'll see the Mohican Missile for what could be his very, final NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series start. Former DWC driver as well. He could be his final start as a black stripe here this evening if he doesn't come back next week. So we're getting to that point where we're going to see some guys that have been in the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship, Mike, for a couple of seasons. They're more than likely going to fall out. This is their final swan song, per se, in these final 2 races.
Yeah, definitely. So we're going to have a different complexion when we start the 2013 NASCAR Racing Series World Championship season. A quick story that I do want to expand on. Dylan Duval will not be back tonight. So like you said, his championship, or not even championship, his bubble hopes are done. But more importantly, Kenneth O'Keefe, he will not be here tonight either. He will not be here next week either. He is, I don't really know if I want to say indefinitely suspended, but he has been removed from this season's Iracing Pro Series tryouts for next season's DWC. He's done for the season. So everyone behind him will be able to leapfrog him and pick up a position. So right now, that could be good for everyone behind him. The battle actually might be for 26th if he doesn't fall out of the top 25 by next week. Paul Kashiba, I'm not sure if he's going to be here tonight. He's been on the hot seat all week. I've been hearing a lot of things about him. Actually, the past 2 weeks, he's been on the verge of getting in trouble. We all know Kashiba is a very risky, aggressive driver, and I know a couple people aren't too happy with him on the service. I've been hearing things, but I don't know if he's suspended or not. I'm not sure, so I'm not going to say anything. When we get in the server, we'll see if he's in there or not. But that could be implications too for everyone behind him, because again, he's outside of the bubble. Anyone that's behind him, 31st on back, that could be huge for them, because that's one less car that they have to pass. Because if he's not here tonight, Tim, he's pretty much out of it too. You can't miss this many races and try to make it in the series. But it's a really tight battle. We've got guys like Andrew Fayash, another guy that's been in the DWC for a long time. He's on the verge of falling out. Josh Connors, he's really close. He's 24th right now, like you said. Any misstep tonight or next week at Charlotte could be the end of his career. And you got a lot of new faces back there trying to fight into Cody Bias-Cattell and Chambrone. They're relatively new to the scene, and they've done a decent job this season to keep themselves inside the top 25. But again, just like Connors, one little misstep on the track and they're done. So it's going to be a very interesting night tonight. We've got a lot of stories that are going to unfold. We have the championship battle, the top 5 battle, the top 25 battle is tighter than ever, and we have battles all over the track tonight. I'm sure we'll see that. So it's going to be great, Tim. It's just with this series and the DWC series, you've always got stories unfolding. There's always more than one race. It's not just the race. It's not just the race for the win in that particular race itself. You've got races all through the field for different spots in the points and whatnot. So again, tonight there's going to be a lot of layers to this race, and we'll try to keep everyone at home watching up to date, because I know I'm already kind of confused. So I'm sure everybody else at home might be confused too. So we'll try to keep you up to date as best as possible tonight here at Homestead. But I can just guarantee this: we're going to have a great race, and a lot of things are going to unfold going into next week at Charlotte.
Long story short, you do not want to miss next week here on ETV Live, and that's the easiest way to say it, because we're going to have a clearer picture. It's not going to be as clear as we will when we drop the checkered flag in this season, but we're going to have a little more clearer picture as to who's going to make it, who's not going to make it, and who's going to be where going in to next week, who has to make X amount of points to get in the top 25, who has a shot at winning the championship. I think right now the championship picture is down to 2. Dustin Montgomery is going to have to throw a Hail Mary in the next 2 races in order to have something for your top 2. Watch the 26 and 83 as they go at it here this evening at the Homestead Miami Speedway for round number, what is officially, I guess it is round number 9. It's the 8th week with that rain out there. It's a little bit cloudy as we get ready to go racing here in about 4 minutes time. And looking at the qualifying results, they've rolled in here, Mike, and it's going to be Jarrett Crawford on the pole, Dustin Montgomery on the outside, looking for a couple of drivers here. And actually, I see him in 6th. Paul Kashiba is going to be here, so Mr. Excitement, I guess we can nickname him as, will start in position number 6. Looking down on through the field, it looks like we are going to start with no less than 33 drivers here this evening.
They've got Chad Lawton, the points leader, back in 9th, over a tenth of a second off his teammates' pole time. So it looks like Lawton might be just a little bit off tonight. Not sure if it's just in qualifying trim. He could definitely rebound in race trim. Let's see, we got back here, we got Kyle Gatula with a solid 15th place. Jake Sturgis, one of the Last Row Motorsports drivers. He will have a live camera up on the Last Row Motorsports site, I'm hearing, So that'll be pretty cool to watch if you want to check that out. In between the broadcast, that should be fun to watch. Brandon Schmidt back there, who over the break, Tim, we haven't talked about this yet. Brandon Schmidt hopped aboard the Lastro Motorsports train, and he's over there now. He departed from Schmitten, wasn't really liking the performance over there, and there he is over at Lastro. And ironically, his teammate Matt Whitten is a couple spots behind him this week, along with Krohn and Chambrone back in 20th and 22nd, respectively. Like you said, at least 33 cars in the field tonight. So we're not going to have a full field, but we got a lot of cars out there tonight vying for the win. So definitely be exciting here tonight.
Talked about guys behind the 8 ball here this evening. Jarl Tyen, one of those drivers that really needs to go. He's going to start in 27th place. Pedro Mojica, the Mohican Missile, as we mentioned, going to start 28th. And another welcome back to the series and what could be one of his final starts as a black stripe for the 2012. Davidowitz will start in position number 14 as we get ready to go green in just a few moments' time. We're going to bring Dakota Ehrman in here before we do go green flag racing here, before we start making our way into the server. Dakota, what are you expecting here this evening out of this Homestead Miami Speedway?
Well, again, it's a lot like last time, as you did say. Somebody was up front. I believe it was Adam Gilliland, if I'm correct on that, before the rain out. But if you do remember last time, it was Jared Crawford's show in those Wheelman guys that were really, really quick and guys to watch out for. And he is, like you said, on the pole again. I have a feeling it might be another Crawford show. And, I mean, you can't say that people have had time to prepare because those guys were good last time. I have a feeling they're going to be just as good this time. It's going to be a show for sure. Either way, they got to manage those tires. I'm telling you, Homestead is very well known sometimes for killing the tires occasionally. So I have a feeling that tires are going to be very important, and the fuel. Not quite sure. I'm thinking about 60 laps. Am I correct there, Conti?
I'm not really sure either. But it's a 1.5 mile track, Dakota. It's a little bit slower than the rest of them. So as far as fuel goes, probably 55, maybe 57 laps. Depends on the fuel mileage, depends on the gear. It just depends on everything. So, we might see a fuel mileage race here tonight if the cautions fall right, Dakota. I mean, I know Homestead, another thing Homestead is known for is fuel mileage, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of races have played out the fuel mileage here, and a big time, especially with the amount of laps we have to go and how much fuel this car can hold. So I have a feeling that this is just going to be one you don't want to miss, especially with next week also coming up, and the great points battle that we have going on. I'm excited tonight, guys.
134 laps of the Homestead Miami Speedway coming up at you on ETV Live. We're going to take a quick break here, step away. We'll bring you back to action for round number 9 of the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series. Don't go away.
Come up and grab.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night
Let me know when the server's
that
up.
our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land
Inside SimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
No. All right, we're here.
Getting ready to go green flag racing for round number 9 at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Final practice laps getting put in. Mike Conti, what are you seeing out here before we see this green flag?
Well, I see a lot of fast race cars up front. A lot of, actually some surprises up here. Josh Berry, that's not really a surprise. He's always fast. Former DWC driver, I believe he will get back in the 2013 season. He's currently at the top of the boards, Tim. Cody Bias in third. That's solid for him. He's not really in a great spot in the points right now. Not really safe at all, but if he could get a solid top 5 here tonight, that would definitely get him up there a little bit. Brandon Schmidt inside the top 10 with his new team tonight. Paul Kashiba is here, like you said. He's in the top 10 as well. So, it looks like a strong field up front for tonight.
And some drivers in this happy hour session getting final laps in. Josh Berry currently quickest. Joey Brown, Cody Bias, top 3 in the practice session. I see Wesley Outland has joined us down on pit road. Wesley, final thoughts before we go green.
Well, guys, there's nothing like the excitement coming into Homestead Miami Speedway, and it's down to 2 races remaining into deciding who will get those top 10 spots to decide who's going to the DWC, as it all gets started in February for the DWC Championship and the chance to walk away with almost $10,000 with the NASCAR sanction and body wrapping up behind it as well. But, guys, you got to talk about coming on the pit road here at Homestead. You got to hit your marks. You can't overshoot your pit stalls. It's going to be an exciting race to watch here for 134 laps here in the state of Florida.
And let's run down our starting grid here this evening. Your front row, as we mentioned off the top of the show, Jarrett Crawford, 83, and Dustin Montgomery, the 8, going to roll off on the front row.
Rich Doucette will start third tonight. Outside of him will be Josh Berry in the 72.
Row number 3 sees Josh Lawton rolling off in the inside position number 5, and Paul Kashiba, Mr. Excitement, rolls off from position number 6.
Starting 7th tonight will be Joey Brown in the 12, and outside of him will be the number 92 of Casey Malone.
Your point leader, Ted Lawton, starts inside the top 10 in position number 9 as our cars begin to roll off here. Peter Bennett going to start on his outside.
Benjamin Burmeister with a solid qualifying effort in 11th, the number 66. Outside of him will be the number 14 of Bradley Cattell.
Danny Hanton rolls off from 13 to the outside. It is the 25 of Richie Davidowitz.
15th place will be Kyle Gatula tonight in the 71. And outside of him will be the 41 of Jake Sturgis.
Brandon Schmidt rolls off from position number 17. The Sea Giraffe rolls off from 18th, Josh Connors.
Matt Witten, the number 69, will start 19th, and outside of him will be his teammate, the 07 of Derek Crone.
Carson Down, 21st, 22nd, Alex Chambrone.
Landon Huffman, 23rd, and Philip Geist, 24th.
Cody Bias, Rob Ackley, 25th and 26th.
You're all tying in 27th, and Pedro Mejica on the outside of him in 28th.
Completing your top 30, Yuka Savalainen and Vinny Sansone.
31st will be Andrew Fash, the 3rd. 32nd, Brandon Bookberger. 33rd, Matt Boost, the last driver to take a time tonight, making his return to the series. The number 47 of Chris Overland will start the caboose, Tim.
Good to see Chris back in the series. The first racing Ford Mustang pace car into the infield. Crawford is gone. Green flag flies. And what a flying start for the 83. He's out by 3 car lengths before we even hit turn 1.
Yeah, he was ready to go at the start right there. The rust was shaking off really quickly for that number 83 car as he jumps out to a 3 or 4 car length lead, gets a nice bite off of turn 2, and he'll lead his teammate down the backstretch. Looks like the battle right now is between the number 40 of Josh Lawton, On the outside of him is Paul Kashiba trying to hold the spot. Not going to happen. The 40 goes through. Joey Brown looks to take another spot away from the 32 as well.
The 12 look on the inside now at Kashiba's. Kashiba's trying to hold on for that spot. Your top 5 single file, and now it's the battle for 6 as here comes 12 on the inside of the 32. And Peter Bennett looking strong here early as well. 31 now looking at 32 as 32 will fall back behind the number 12. 12 picks up that spot as we go single file down the back. Chad Lawton poke at the line. He looks to make a move.
Yeah, Lawton trying to make up a little bit of some ground here early on. He started about 9 positions behind his teammate tonight. He'll try to make those up as we go through the night. We'll keep an eye on that 26 car. We'll successfully take the spot away from the 92, so that'll be 8th for the number 26. Burmeister goes around. Whoa, the 92 as well. He almost runs into the back of the 26 right there. Gets it woed up. Now the 14 will go around the 92 as well, or at least tries to exit turn number 2.
Couple Gary Mercer trucking cars battling there for those spots as the 92 continues to fall back. Here comes Danny Hansen, 78, and Richie DeVito, 25, as they continue to work their way up just in front of them. It looks like Peter Bennett just swapped the position with Kashiba. Quick change there for the spot. Now here comes the 25 on the 92. The 3 of Brandon Schmidt also there looking to make something happen as he looks to the inside of the 92. He's going to get to the inside here in the corner. 92 going to give him a little bit of room.
Yeah, you can see the 3 got really low right there, beneath where the grip really lays on this track, and he will not get a run off the corner right there. The 92 will finally get back down in line. That should be the 14th position for the 92. Meanwhile, a couple spots behind them, the 15 of Josh Connors trying to make up a spot in the 71 right now of Catula as they exit turn number 4. Side by side they go. 15 will get the nose on him at the start finish line. Should clear him by turn number 1.
Lap number 5 being put on the board here, single file throughout your about top 10, top 15 or so, as everybody's trying to find a place in line. First side-by-side battle I see back here is around Carson Downs in 97. Philip Geis is back here as well, as is Derek Crone in the 07. Crone to the inside of the Pro Geek Consulting number 97. This is about 20th place right now.
Yeah, it looks like Carson is not really able to make up any positions right now in the short run, but we have seen this from him the past couple weeks. He's really not qualified very well, and somehow, some way, he always makes up the spots in the long runs. So right now he's not in the preferred line as he falls back to 22nd right there in front of the 69 of Witten. But if he can get down right here, we'll see if he can't start to pick up some positions as they get real loose back in the pack. Looks like Mojica and Ackley coming off of turn number 2, and Ackley gets sent into turn number 3. He's going to get plowed into the back of by the 17. Caution is out.
Yeah, he had that saved until the 17 came along. Rob Ackley, I was about to say we can call it a save because he had that thing righted in the right direction, and then Brandon Bookberger wanted to join the party per se, and it's not good for Bookberger because we talked about it off the top, Mike, and Rob Ackley as well. They're on that top 25 bubble. That's the last thing you want to see happen.
Yeah, luckily for Ackley, I think he got hit pretty square in the back bumper, so I don't think the 22 car will have a lot of severe damage right here. Just gonna probably beat that out under this caution right here as he makes his pit stop. But Bookberger, on the other hand, he's probably going to have some engine damage and a lot of aerodynamic damage, so it's going to really hurt his night and his chances to get into the 2013 DWC series. So looks like they're all going to come down pit road this time, except for maybe 2 cars up front here, down to Dakota on pit road, who's going to be covering us tonight, along with Wesley Outland.
Yeah, guys, Dustin Montgomery leading them out as Jerry Crawford did stay out there. That was kind of a surprise to me, but Dustin Montgomery really loose off the corners. I believe they're making a small air pressure adjustment in the right rear, trying to keep the car from sliding off the corners as much, Wesley.
Early caution to the going, and Jared Crawford's crew was telling him stay out onto the racetrack. Even though we're in the early going of this race and everybody looks like they're going to come to commit to pit road, stay out. We've still got a fresh rubber. You still got a full tank. Don't lose track position. It's important, guys, here in the early going at Homestead. Back up to y'all.
As these drivers race off pit road, 4 drivers stayed out, and they were in the top 10 when it happened, Mike. It's going to be Peter Bennett and 4, Joey Brown, Josh Berry, and Jarrett Crawford all the way up to the top spot. Is there obviously You look at that track position up there. Is there a whole big advantage of pitting on lap 8 of a 134 lap race with this current build?
Well, I don't really know. The last time we ran here was about a couple months ago, and it seems like since then we've picked up about a tenth of a second from somewhere, so I guess the cooler weather outside has traveled into the sim, but what I'm trying to get to is stuff is always changing on here. I can never keep up with it. I don't think anyone really can. The last time I checked, tires meant a lot here, especially in the first 5 to 10 laps. So guys like Doucette, Montgomery, guys like them who have pitted, they're still pretty far up front, so they should be able to pick off a couple positions. Now, if Crawford can get a good enough of a restart and sprint that way for the pack a little bit, they probably won't be able to get him. It really just all depends on what that 83 does in this restart. If he gets a good start, he'll be okay on those old tires. If he spins the tires, if he gets shuffled out of line, the 83, he'll have a long run until the next caution comes out, until he can get 4 fresh tires on it.
And the great thing about this racetrack as well, guys, quick yellows is the front row already doubled up. It's Crawford and Barry, Brown and Bennett, and then the rest of the field that came down pit road led by Josh Lawton, Rich Doucette, Dustin Montgomery, Benjamin Burmeister, Paul Kashiba, and your point leader, Chad Lawton, started in 9th, worked his way up through the field, and now he will restart in position at number 10. We still have all of the drivers that started this race on the field with the exception of Brandon Bookberger. Bookberger has pulled it behind the wall. He is done for the evening, and that could very well be his chances of making the 2013 NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship along with that wreck. 83 and 72 going to lead us to the green flag side by side. The First Racing Ford Mustang pace car will get ready to head to the infield here as Jarrett Crawford will try to get another great restart, fantastic restart on the initial start of this race. Does Crawford do it here? He waits a little bit of bumper tag back there, and now he goes. Green flag flies, and he leaves the 12 and the 72 in the dust.
Looks like they stacked up just a little bit in the back there in the bottom line, but it looks like no one has any severe damage. They will motor on. Battle is for third, going through turn number 1 and 2. Brown wants to take it. The 31 of Bennett doesn't want to give it to him. They go side by side off in turn number 2. Drag race down the backstretch. It looks like the 12 will clear the 31. Now let's see if Doucette can get to the bottom. He does. Throws it into turn number 3. And he's got the 66 and the 40 hot in his heels as well.
40 back there with a hungry Dustin Montgomery behind him. A little bit of warp, it looks like, there between the 8 of Dustin Montgomery. The 40 there trying to hold him off for the spot as they're side by side. Here comes Kashiba as well. 31 way up the racetrack. 66, is he going to make it 3 wide? He pulls the foot out of it, but they're going to lose a bunch of spots on the inside line.
Yeah, really good racer, right? And you can see right there, that top line doesn't work all too bad right there. The 31 got up there. I don't think he really wanted to be that high. But he did get a pretty decent run off the corner and was able to hold the spot off. Now he starts to lose spots. The 32 will go around him with Kashiba. Our points leader, Chad Lawton, he's trying to make up some more spots as well. Looks like he'll clear the 31 too. 92 Malone wants to take the spot away from the 66 and the 31 train on the outside. Also, he goes under him through the center of 1 and 2, and he'll get a nice fight off of turn number 2. 66 wiggles just a little bit. 32 and 92, or the 78 and 92 rather, try to file by the 2 on the outside going into turn number 3.
12 car Brown on the outside line, falling back quickly. 32 of Kashiba now underneath, and it looks like the 26 of Chad Lawton, your point leader, looking at one more spot as well in the Gary Mercer Trucking. Number 26, 12 doesn't have that spot in line. 26 going to occupy it, and if he doesn't hurry up, it's going to be the 92 on the inside as well, as the 92 looks at that battle in front of him. Down the back straightaway we work lap number 13 of 134.
Yeah, they're single file pretty much up through the top 10. The first battle is Brandon Schmidt going around the 31 car. The 31 and the 66 still cannot get down. Looks like Burmeister will try to get down in front of the 71. That's back in the, that's back outside the top 15 now. The 66 has fallen all the way back to the 18th position, and the 31 17th, but the 66 wants it. He goes below Bennett. Here he comes through the center. Nice run. 31 pinches just a little bit. They'll go side by side. A little bit of a wiggle for Bennett right there. He's going to try to get back in line. Gatola doesn't want to have any of it. He'll toss it down to 3. 31 doesn't give a lot of it's really close right there, Tim, but Bennett thought better of it and gave him the room. We're only 14 laps into it. Don't want to get turned into a corner just yet.
Up in front of the field, Doucette goes to position number 2 on Josh Berry. Dustin Montgomery just took a spot on Josh Lawton, and Lawton now under fire from the 32 and 26, and albeit Rich Doucette on some newer tires compared to the guy that he just passed and your leader right now. But give a call out to Rich Doucette. What a great run in the JDR Graphics Fiji number 96 as he moves up into position number 2.
And Rich is very good at this track. When we first came here a couple months ago, I was able to race him in the regular Class A series here in the Iracing service, and he was very strong. In the first race he did, I believe he won it. The second race, I believe I edged him out. So, we were pretty equal back then, but it looks like Wheelmen definitely worked on their cars since then, and they look stronger than ever. Currently, you have Wheelmen 1, 2, 4, 5, and 7. So, the majority of the top 10 right now, the majority of the top 5 is Wheelmen. So, a good run for that team tonight. Oh, as I'm looking at a battle back here, Tim, that looks like Atul is still battling it out. Oh, it's Huffman now. Now it's the 97 and Downs going under Huffman. That's for the 18th and 19th position, a little bit further back in the pack.
Dustin Montgomery picks up position number 3 at the front of the pack, and he will look and set his sights on Rich Doucette and Jared Crawford in front of him. Looking back here at the pack, it looks like Joey Brown might be losing position number 9, or at least Danny Hansen thought about letting Joey Brown lose position number 9 as he flashed the nose underneath the number 12. 14, at Cattell looking to make his way back up as well. These guys really trying to pick their spots right now, and you mentioned it. It is early in this race as the 14 and 78 look at each other for position number 10.
Yeah, Cattell thought of taking it on entry right there, but thought better of it. He backs out, and Hansen will try to get around the 12 going to 3. It looks like the 12 is starting to hold up these guys a little bit. Hansen has a little bit of a connection problem right there, but he's back in the server, no problem. Like I was trying to say, the 12 looks like he's holding up this pack. He's got the 78th Hansen, Cattell, Connors, Schmidt, Sturgis, Burmeister, and Geist back. They're all in a row, really close to him. As now it looks like Hansen gets a nice run off the corner. Danny takes it down to 1, and now he'll shuffle the 12 back out to the outside. So maybe this pack of cars will kind of sort of separate right now. He's like, I really think Brown is struggling right now, Tim. Maybe we'll have to send it down to Dakota or Wesley, but it looks like the 12 of Brown, the 66 of Burmeister, and 31 of Bennett. I don't know if they made some changes in that last pit stop, but they're definitely going in the wrong direction.
Yeah, guys, I believe those are some of the cars that actually stayed out. I know Joey Brown stayed out for sure. I can't remember those others that you named, but I do remember a lot of them staying out. I do remember seeing about 6 cars up there, and those old tires, like I said, tires can be very important here at times, and I think you're seeing a result of 8-lap old tires backwards of Jared Crawford. Jared Crawford's up there running away, guys.
And looking back here, I'm still keeping a half eye on this battle. 15 and 12 are going at it, 66 and 3. There's all kinds of battles all over this racetrack. You mentioned Montgomery picking up position number 2 there on Rich Doucette. 92 Casey Malone. I know I'm doing a lot of bouncing around, and I'm sure John is pulling his hair out right now, but there's so much great racing on this racetrack right now, Mike. As Montgomery, we mentioned it, might as well start at the top, picked up second, and now he tries to close in on Jarrett Crawford, who's led since we dropped the green flag 21 laps ago.
Now we're going to have another battle right here for the 9th position. The 14 will take it, and it looks like Hansen will not put up a fight right there. The 78 goes back 1, 14 up 1. So now it looks like the freight train starts to form once again, Tim. Now it stretches all the way back to the back here to the 18th place car of Carson Downs. So that 8-car freight train right now. Behind them, or actually now again at the front of that pack, you have the 12 of Brown taking a position away from Danny Hansen on the top right there. Danny's going to have to try to find a spot in line. He's got a little bit of a gap between himself and the 15, and he will take it. Connors lets him go. A little bit of give and take early on in this race. Maybe not. There he goes into 3. Connors thinks better of it, and he'll try to take another spot away from the 78.
And Jackpot Jake Sturgis there as well on the number 41, the Inex car there, as he looks to pick up a spot. 15 and the 78 in front of him, as looks like he's going to look to that inside line, and then the Pro Geek Consultant number 78 side by side now with the 41 as the 15 picks up a spot, and that's 1 extra point if Josh Connors can hold it. Connors is looking to break into the top 25.
Yeah, the way that Connors is running right now, I think he would safely gain a top 25 position as of the end of this race if he could just stay right where he was, but Sturgis doesn't want to let him do that, and he'll try to take the spot away. Not going to have enough to run, though. 15 will clear him, but a 12th position finish for Connors would go a long way, being back in 24th in points, so we'll keep our eye on him and see where he ends up at the end of this race.
Dustin Montgomery has cut the lead in half in the last 2 laps. It is now 0.2 of a second. Last time by Crawford was a 31.87 to a 31.80 for Dustin Montgomery. Montgomery continues to cut in to the lead of Jarrett Crawford. This time by, it is, again, 0.2 of a second, but shaved off a little bit of time, shaved off hundredths that last lap by. So Dustin Montgomery will be looking to take the lead here, I believe, momentarily, as Crawford is trying to get up there and lead those most laps and get that bonus point and try to inch himself closer to Chad Lawton in the standings. Lawton right now running in position number 6 and looking at Paul Kashiba for 5th.
Yeah, a lot of good racing up front, a lot of good racing in the back too. We've got a battle all the way back in the 24th position, 424th. Derek Cron on the outside, Rich Davidowitz on the bottom. That's the 25 versus the 07. They crossed the line pretty much dead even right there. And Cron retains the spot for now, but Davidowitz wants to take it. They go through the center 1 and 2. He will. Now Yukasava line in the 13 car. He tries to take the position away from the 07 as well. Gives him a little bit of room right there. He checks up and we'll let the 07 back in line 25th. Now you've got Overland a couple spots ahead. The 47 car again in its first race back. He'll move up into the, that should be the top, the 21st position, Tim. And then they have another battle up ahead of them that looks to be brewing as well.
Keep a half eye on this lead as well. The 8 car is there on the 83 of Jarrett Crawford just behind them. Lawton picked up the spot of Kashiba as we get a wreck in the back.
Oh, yeah, big wreck right there. A lot of net code from the 47 to the 71. Big net code hit there. The 47 went under the 71 and somehow there is some pretty nasty net code, Tim. I'm sure Don will bring that up in the replay, but that was really none of those drivers' faults. That's just a product of online racing and a little bit of a bad connection on one of the parties' parts.
Yeah, a lot of net code there in a tough break for Kyle Gatula, and the cars that he took out when he came back down across the racetrack. Yukasava line, and I believe gets a little bit of damage from this. And I'm trying to get a number on the other one. It might have been Shambrone in the 02. Yeah, Shambrone, I believe it was in the 02, gets a little bit of damage from this, and actually gets probably might get the most damage out of this one between him and the 71 as he gets up in the safer barrier with that 71 car. Now keep in mind, and I don't think there's going to be any sort of action here, but I remember to think back to the Pocono race last year for this NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series. It was Overland and Kyle Gatula. Gatula at an A-class driver at that time, getting into it in that race. So maybe rivalry renewed here in the last couple of races of this season. We'll have to keep an eye on that. It's always nice to talk about stuff like that. Down to pit road. It's a very busy place down there, gentlemen.
Yeah, guys, Derek Crawford leading him down this time. Remember, on 28 lap old tires, he was holding off the lead, but Dustin Montgomery was coming. He's ready for 4 tires. He thinks he can hold this thing off. And, if it's anything like last time, he's got the car to beat right now, guys.
Other cars on pit road include the 96 of Richard Doucette, Josh Berry, a regular at the Motor Mile Speedway as they get ready for their 2013 late model season in the Commonwealth State. He's on pit road. 4 tires and Sunoco gasoline going on for that Chevrolet. Also, Paul Kushiba in the 32's on. 72, Josh Berry out of pit road first out of the cars that I introduced, but it looks like Jared Crawford in at pit road first. And I'll tell you what, Tim Terry, he'll come out in P1.
He hasn't lost the lead yet at this Homestead Miami Speedway. As we get ready to step aside for just a few moments' time, we'll take a quick break and bring you back to more racing action. We work lap number 29 of 134 here at Homestead in round number 9.
Landon Huffman coming to a comfortable lead, coming out of 2. He's got about 8 car lengths. Put it half a second over Dwayne Vincent as Chad Cole works the number 2 spot.
Time is running out. Vincent's got it. Cole wants it to the wall. Chevrolet puts the bumper to the 13 of Vincent. Vincent not backing down. He's in second. You know, and we got one car on the bottom of the 10 cars.
We're back.
Welcome back to ETV Live and round number 9 of the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series at the Homestead Miami Speedway. The lights atop the first racing Ford Mustang pace car have been extinguished. Jarrett Crawford has led every single lap since we dropped the green flag 31 laps ago. Barry, Doucette, Montgomery, Lawton, top 5, and Mike, it's really been that way all season long. Your top 5 on the racetrack have really been 5 of the dominant cars this season, minus a Jake Sturgis, who's back there, Adam Gilliland, who's suspended, a couple of other names that we don't see up there.
Yeah, I think we just had a car blink out. Oh, there he is. Yeshiva blinked out from 6th, and there he was inside Josh Berry, trying to get a little bit up close and personal with the 72 car, but luckily that didn't damage any of their cars, so they're going to go back on their ways. The 32 blinks out again. That'll be interesting here as the pace car pulls off once again. Here they come down to the line. Crawford brings it down slow, and he'll get on the gas. He'll get a nice lead over the 96. The bottom gets going well. The top gets going well. We have a clean restart here tonight.
A great restart up in front with the 8 and 96 now side by side for position number 3 as Montgomery clears Doucette. Paul Kashiba was in 5th, but he's going to be back in at least 7th place, it looks like, as the 40 is now underneath the 32, 26. We'll move into the top 5 as Joey Brown back there made a move. I thought we were going to have an incident back there. We might still have with the 14. 32 up into the wall, and he's going to come down in front of traffic and somehow save it.
That was a good save right there. That got quite hairy. Hairy. Oh, it's still hairy. There's 3 wide. Still 3 wide. Oh, they're 2 wide. They're 3 wide. And the 32 is going to go back up the track once again. Now they're 3 wide. And now they're 2 wide again. Oh, and they get really close right there. The 3 and the 78. And they all managed to get through that corner. We'll see if they can do it again through 3 and 4 tips.
It's a well-choreographed ballet out there on the last lap or so of this race as these guys got added, pardon me, coming through. Josh Connors picked up a couple of spots. Danny Hansen picked up a couple of spots. Paul Kashiba felt like a rock, and a lot of those guys, I think, are taking that 3-for-1 special as Kashiba falls back. A ton of spots, and he's still falling back. He's stacking up the outside line here. Burmeister, Overland, Crone, and they're going to go 3 wide down the back.
Oh, yeah, now they're 2 wide again. The 66 checks up in front of everybody, and he's just trying to play the lines right there. And he kind of checked up the 47 and checked up the 07. I don't know if that was smart or a little bit strange, but either way, the 32 car must have a lot of damage to him from when he got up into the outside wall. He's going to hold up the 47. The 47 is going to make an aggressive move in between those 2 cars. Oh, a little bit of contact right there, a little bit of smoke between the 07, the 47, and the 66. And somehow, some way, they made it through that once again.
And he's still falling back slots. The 34 Abusa underneath the 80 of Sansone, the 04 Italian, Witten and Rob Ackley back there as well. And you talked about the aggressive move made by Overland, and that might be the disadvantage for some of these guys that are running for points. For a guy like Overland or Pedro Mojica or a couple of other drivers there that are outside, Richie Davidowitz comes to mind, they really have nothing to lose. They're not going to make the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship, so maybe they can race a little more aggressively than, let's say, they could have if they were involved in this top 25 picture.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter when you have anything, to really think about. And Overland, like you said, really doesn't have any points to think about. All he's doing out here is just trying to get, I don't even know if you want to call it experience. He's already got a lot of it here on the service. I think he's just out here trying to get a good time out of this. Like I said, he's come back from his vacation, a little bit of time off to think, collect his thoughts, maybe rest up a little bit, and come back better than ever. And right now, he's having a pretty solid run. Back in the 23rd position, got a little bit of right front damage from that restart melee. I think that's kind of holding up a little bit. I think that 47 car is a top 20 car if he can get that figured out. So like I said, just once again, good to see him back. And it's, the more the merrier, I say. The more drivers we can get to this series each and every week, that's great for the racing and great for the fans. The more cars, the more 3-wide action we could see, like we saw in that restart, which is just phenomenal racing, very fun to watch. So Just good stuff here tonight, and Charlotte next week is going to be even better, I think, with a lot of guys going for a lot of different things in the finale. So make sure you come back here next week, same time, same place, and catch the finale. You will not want to miss it.
Chad Lawton swept to the inside of Rich Doucette to pick up a spot, and Josh Lawton figured he was going to follow him through as well. So Fidji will fly back 2 spots, and it will leave Doucette in position at number 6 as Josh Lawton now 5th, Chad Lawton now 4th. They chase down your top 3. Crawford has about 4 car lengths on Josh Berry, and just behind him, it's Dustin Montgomery in the number 8, and we got a little bit of a gap between 3rd and 4th place right now. For the time being, top 10, top 15 thereabouts. Single file looking for the first side-by-side battle back here, and I'm not finding it. Looks like everybody, for the most part, is single file.
Yeah, it looks like the 47 lit up the track a little bit right there in 24. 34 Boost is going to try to take it. Not enough for run. And I guess while we're in this lull, Tim, I guess I'll bring up a little fun fact. We've made it past the point in the race in which we crashed the last time. Last time we crashed was on lap 34. We're now reaching lap 40. Working lap 40, reaching lap 41 here when we cross our finish line. So it looks like the clouds have parted at the Homestead Miami Speedway. We will get a full race in here tonight. I'm fairly certain of that, so that's great to see. Maybe Crawford can finally get that first win of the season. He was good here the last time we visited this venue. He was very dominant in Pocono, and still doesn't have a win this season, and a win would go a very long way with his spot in the championship battle.
Consistency is good, podium finishes are good, but we brought it up at the top of the show as well. When your competitor wins for the 7 races and is there every single race, it's kind of hard to make that consistency work unless you get a W or a strike in the win column per se, and right now Crawford does not have that. Battle side by side. Joey Brown nearly buys the farm off corner number 4. What a save by Joey Brown coming off corner number 4.
Great save by the 12, completely dead sideways off of there, and he was able to save it. Looks like his teammate, the 41 of Sturgis, was nice enough to let him gather it back up, but the 12's tires have to be really hot right now. Now Sturgis will look to the bottom. We'll see if Joey Brown yields. The 12 drives it in a little bit. The 41 goes low. They'll stay side by side. A little bit further back in the pack, looks like Bias will take the position away from former teammate Brandon Schmidt. Landon Huffman on the bottom of the 75, a teammate of Brown, and Sturgis tries to catch up to them just a little bit and make up a position in the 3. Not going to happen. That'll stay the same. The 75 back in 18th. The 3 remains in 17th.
Landon Huffman, as you mentioned, moving up through the field as it looks like. I'm looking up there. I think it says Rich Doucette falling back a spot there. Rich Doucette on the outside line. 92 to the inside. Now 14 of Brandon Cattell looking for a spot. So Rich Doucette, after we've seen it early, and it might have been that short run setup that he has in the race car, because he's falling back. His teammates are still up near the front of the field, but Doucette is now falling like a stone as he will be back in a position number 8, I do believe, here the next time by the stripe.
And it looks like Alex Shamden, the damaged number 02 car, he yields to the leaders. He will go another lap down. Actually, no, it's his first lap down, so he'll go 1 lap down, I believe. So that 02 very far off the pace, barely making minimum speed. Tim, I'd be very careful if I were the lap cars. It looks like that 02 is ready to either blow up or take off for liftoff at any moment now. So he's going to go way up next to the wall, and they'll get around Tim cleanly. That is his second lap down. Let me correct that. That is his second lap down. The 71 of Kyle Gatola is 1 lap down, looking to go 2 down very shortly.
And Chambrone, one of those drivers on the bubble position. He came into this evening 21st. He had a little bit of a cushion, but when you're running back 30-something in the race, 32nd right now, that cushion goes away really, really quickly. Your leader continues to be the number 83 of Jarrett Crawford. See the 92 and 14 going at it. Cattell sticks the nose in underneath the number 92 of Casey Malone. Down the back straightaway, they will go side by side as the 14 tries to get that run. He thought about falling back in behind, and he does so going in to corner number 3. But Cattell trying to set up a pass, and he gives him a little shot in corner number 3. Hello, as Casey Malone work his way through the 96 now. Goes to the inside of the 14.
Hey, he was just saying good evening, good morning, good afternoon, hello, how are you, to the 92 when he hit him right there. He actually hurt himself more than the 92. Now Doucette's going to try to take a spot away from him as the 41 of Sturgis goes by his teammate finally in the 12 car. 96-14 side by side down the backstretch. 96 has the preferred line. Oh, they get really close right there. Oh, he's going to give him another nudge. And another nudge. Oh, and there's a wreck in the back, someone up against the wall.
Pace
And
car.
this looked like Hansen in the 78, Tim.
And pace car is out, and Connors is also involved in this. The left rear of Connors' car pushed in, as well as a little bit of damage, actually right up the left-hand side, and indicate he may have hit the wall. And it looks like Danny Hansen in the 78 and Connors in the 15 may have had a coming together, which sends Connors into the fence on the left-hand side, and I would say there might be some suspension damage to the left-hand side of that car as well. A little bit of smoke. I believe Sansone may have smoked it through the grass too.
Yeah, it looks like everyone did get through that wreck beside the 78 and the 15. It just looks like the 78 tried to pull low on the 15, misjudged, and nailed him in the left rear corner and sent him around into the walls. So not what Connors needed, and really not what Danny needed either. He was going for the 5th place spot in points. I still think he can get it tonight, but he's not going to have as much of a buffer going into the finale. He could add a lot more points up on 5th. So, well, I don't know, but that really hurts both of those drivers in different ways, but it hurts them just as equally.
And the race off pit road, it's the 83 of Jarrett Crawford winning over Dustin Montgomery, Josh Berry, Josh Lawton, and Casey Malone. Your top 5, Mike, I believe that Dakota is down there reporting from the hot dog stand again.
Well, you know, ETV hot dogs are very good. Out of all the broadcasting companies, I'd have to say I think we have the best hot dogs. I like to get hot dogs down at the stand anywhere we go, whether it be Martinsville, Homestead, Texas, Charlotte, you know, anywhere. The ETV always brings good hot dogs. JD Webb always seems to cook them up very well. But enough about hot dogs. We got a race on our hands here tonight, Tim. We're approaching halfway. Not quite there yet. About 20 laps or so we will be there. But I really think we kind of have a picture of who's going to be battling for the win. It looks like the 83 of Crawford, Dustin Montgomery, and Josh Berry seem to be the 3 fastest cars here tonight. Chad Lawton seems to be a close 4th, but Tim, he cannot get that track position that he needs, whether it be pit stops being slow or just a bad qualifying effort. He's just really not been able to get the track position he needs so far tonight.
Keep in mind, though, you look at Jarrett Crawford, he has yet to lose the lead in this race, period. He has kept the lead for the first 50 laps of this race and has not let back yet. So Crawford, right now, they're going to have to beat Crawford in order to win this thing, in my eyes. And obviously, we've seen Montgomery have a quick car. We've seen Josh Berry have a quick car. Rich Doucette was quick on the short runs. Chad Lawton, I don't think really has shown what he has yet in this event. But Crawford right now, he's led every single lap of this race so far. And we've seen him before, and I think we brought it up. Dominant of Pocono did not close the deal there. Top 3 finish. Hopefully, for Crawford's sake, that doesn't happen again. But for everybody else in this field, they're hoping that something like that happens.
And we just had a big turn in the back. 15 sent the 78 around, Tim. Got up on his bumper a little bit right there, and then nailed him in the left rear. It's a little bit of payback on the track tonight. Tempers rising at Homestead as we go along here.
And, you know, I don't think the admins or officials will look very kindly on that. Josh Connors is a multi-year veteran of the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. And he will come down pit road, and that car does not look like it is tracking in the right direction. So we'll have to see what happens there. Danny Hansen still on the racetrack. I see he's shaking that back and forth, making sure that that car is not broke, as Connors will head down to his pit stall. And, you know, with this being the second last race of the season, this might be the last race we see Josh Connors, depending how the admins see that. And I know they don't look too kindly on the retaliation factor in this series.
Yeah, you know, I might be a little bit old school and maybe a little bit too lenient, but, you know, Connors was smart enough to hook him away from traffic and not into the line of traffic. So, you know, at least he hooked him with a head on his shoulders, as much of a head as you could have to do that when you know that the officials aren't going to be very happy with you. But you know, they're showing emotion, and well, that's a good thing. I like to see emotion. We can't see these guys' faces, can't see our faces either, Tim. But either way, you know, we can sense the emotion when they do things like that. Connors was going for a top 25 spot. He got wrecked, and he wasn't happy about it. He wasn't going to take it out in text chat or voice chat. And we have a restart right here, and we're going to get going racing again. That was very interesting. I didn't know we were going back to green. Oh, and they're going to stack up in the back a little bit, and they all met. Oh, and tying in the wall. Oh, into the inside wall. And back up into the traffic, and that was a big wreck.
I believe we are still green flag racing through all of this. I'm not sure what kind of restart that was, but the 72 and 8 side by side going down the back straightaway, and we're going to fan out 2 and 3 wide middle pack.
I think someone in this cater chat just said it best. That was the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. I have to agree with him. That's Trey Wilson. Thank you, Trey. That sums that up very nicely. Okay, we'll get going with that. Josh Connors has been disqualified, by the way. Shannon Whitmore put the old banhammer down, if you want to call it that. Caution is out.
Yeah, guys, real quickly, the word is that Josh Connors inappropriately hitting the machine of Hanson. We saw this in the broadcast, and tell you what, those NASCAR iRacing officials not taking too keenly to that move. He has been parked, and I think there's probably going to be further suspensions. But it looks like he's going to come back onto the racetrack. This might be interesting, Tim Terry.
Yeah, iRacing, when you disqualify a driver in iRacing on a server, it takes them, it actually gives them, I'm not sure what it is, Mike, it's 60 seconds or 30 seconds to get off the track, per se, on their own doing. And obviously, as soon as Connor saw that he was disqualified, he hit the hammer and tried to get on the racetrack, and obviously the iRacing time in the server caught him, and he will, he'll be done for the evening, and we'll see if anything happens throughout the week and see if he shows up in Charlotte.
And does that count as insubordination? You know, I mean, it's like he knew he was DQ'd and gunned it and come back onto the racetrack. What was his intention?
I'm sure the iRacing officials will look at that. You see it on your screen that you've been disqualified. I'm sure that the iRacing officials knew that, and as soon as I saw that, I had my camera on Connors, and he takes off for the racetrack. Jarl Tyen done for the evening. He is retired. I believe a couple of guys in the back here, Wesley, going to come down towards you, but a lot of those guys in the back getting damage repaired, and possibly Mike getting some damage repaired that they never got repaired under a previous caution.
Oh, Peter Bennett looked like he was going to come to pit road, but he thought better of it and decided to stay on to the racetrack. But, you know, other than that, it looked like everybody pretty much stays onto the racetrack except for lap down cars, and you know, it's just a heartbreaker what just happened with Josh Connors and Hanson. And you know, you mentioned it, you know, 71 Kyle Galata on the pit road now, to the attention of his crew. Couple of others also going to take on some new fresh rubber and Sunoco gasoline. But you know, as it's coming down to the end of these races, Tim and Mike, you're getting down to the wire. Tempers do boil, especially if you're kind of like in the hunt of the championship and one wrong slip and a costly mistake. And you never know. Sometimes our tempers will get the best of us, whether iRacing or even in reality. And, you know, we don't know what type of reactions or punishment he's going to have for consequences on that moves that he made. But lap car is on pit road. This should be definitely an interesting story to follow up as we go to Charlotte next week for the finale.
Yeah, it certainly will be. I don't, like Tim said, I don't believe we will see the 15 car at the finale next week at Charlotte. I know the 78 will probably have at least 4 incident points for that. I'm not sure if that was within the restart zone, so that might be 8, but I believe it will be 4. But either way, like I said, I like to see emotions. I don't condone wrecking people under caution, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't make for an interesting show.
And when you look at it too, Mike, you get to the point where Connors is on the bubble. Danny Hansen is up there. He's got that sense of, you know, I'm in the series next year. I can maybe breathe a little sigh of relief. Won the race at Pocono. You know, I can breathe a little bit. And then you have Connors with that sense of urgency. I need to get up there. I need to get in the top 25 in points. If not, I stand to miss my first NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship in 2 years. it's really tough for Connors, and I know he doesn't get worked up too quickly unless it kind of reminds me of a Johnny Benson sort of driver. I'm not going to rough you up unless you rough me up, but once you rough me up, I'm going to try to get back to you and try to ruffle your feathers a little bit. It's one of those situations. Tough break for Connors, and we'll see if he does come back next week, and if so, I'm sure he's going to be gunning for it, but it makes that top 25 picture a little more... makes it a little more foggy for some of those drivers there that are gunning for it. We saw Bookburger a little bit earlier on with Tough Luck as well, so it's going to be interesting coming down next week.
Yeah, it certainly will. I can't wait to get this race kicked off at Charlotte. We're going to have a lot of cars there next week, a lot of speed. That track is very fast, this build. You're in the gas slot, and that's going to make for some very, very close, tight-knit racing. Even closer than what we've seen tonight. I mean, we've seen some pretty stellar stuff tonight. We've really seen it the whole season. It's been great. But next week at Charlotte, going to have a lot of things in the line, and people are going to be going for it. And with Chad in the position that he's in right now, Tim, and Jared in the position that he's in, if it were to end like this, the championship battle would be very, 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 very close going into next week. So that would definitely be cool to see as well.
Looks like the field's going to double up in turn number 2 for this restart, as they will get doubled ups, as it'll be 83 and 72 compared to the last restart where we were single file until about corner number 4 until the sim threw the green flag. So this restart might be just a little bit better this time, as Jarrett Crawford will look to continue his dominance. He's led every lap so far. We're going to complete the 57th this time by, as the first racing Ford Mustang pace car gets ready to head off the field, and Crawford will lead us to green, Mike.
Yes, he does. It's him down. We'll see if he goes early. We'll see if he goes late. He's been very unpredictable tonight, as he usually is, but that's a smart thing to do when you don't have a restart box. Ford Mustang pace car pulls off. 83 gets in the hammer really quick that time. No check up in the back. Oh, just a little bit on the top, and they get going right there. Phil Geis misses his shift. He checks them up. Joey Brown tries to clear himself in the 25's front bumper. Not going to work up the track. He goes 25 to the bottom. That's a little bit further back, but right now, immediately, we have the 8 and the 72 going side by side with the 40 and 92 going for position behind them as well.
Yeah, 8's going to pick up that spot. It looked like the 72 with Josh Berry maybe second-guessed himself whether he was clear or not, and he lets the 8er have that hole in the inside, as the 92 now looks to the inside of the 72 of Josh Berry. So Berry was clear, and then he wasn't clear, and now he's going to lose a couple of spots.
He's going to possibly lose this one to the 92 of Malone. They continue to go side by side. 72 must be very good if he can hold the top like that. Doing an excellent job to hold off the 92. 26 is going to make it 3 wide into 3. Let's see if he actually does it. He will. There's not a lot of room there. 72 gets into the corner very well. Now they go 2 wide, and the caution is out for, looks like there's a wreck in the back. Go! 12 just hit the 25 under caution. Not sure what that was for.
And Pedro Mojica looks like he is done for the evening, and a lot of junk here, and it's going to start with Landon Huffman, and I believe Pedro Mojica is going to give him a little bit of a nudge into corner number 3. Vinny Sansone involved, the 58 of Geis involved, among others, to bring out this caution flag. And it looked like the 24 of Mojica as well, after the fact that he was trying to get on the track. The 75 of Huffman has to go up the track to avoid. There's a lot of drivers junked here. 34 Matt Busa involved in this one as well.
Yeah, guys, on pit road.
Rewind this. Let's, as Wesley's talking here, let's get a replay of that 47 going through there. Go ahead, Wesley.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. Didn't mean to cut you off there. Pedro Mojica, the 24 car, definitely a lot of damage on that number 24 Chevrolet. He come onto pit road. I actually had to cover my mouth to keep from choking on the mosquitoes. Definitely going in the other direction from the smoke that was coming from the rear end of that car. Damaged and mangled all on the right front, the right rear, the suspension, the chassis, everything all busted in left and right. His car goes to the garage area. He's definitely done for the night. And Dakota, I think some more cars in front of you that could sustain some damage in that wreck also. Oh, he's still at the hot dog stand. Yeah, okay. I love them hot dogs at Homestead, but yeah, a couple other cars on pit road. But guys, Pedro Mojica definitely got the worst for wear in that wreck. That car's destroyed, as there is some lap machines that have now decided to come to pit road. But man, I gotta say enough. I was down to the other midsection of pit road talking to the crew chief for Jared Crawford, and they were just like, we
do not have opportunities to have phenomenal runs like this. When it's your night, it's your night. And it seems like that Chevrolet number 83 has hit his marks on pit road, off pit road, on the racetrack. And Tim, he's definitely looking to capture that checkered flag here at Homestead in the next to last race of the year.
As the 22 and 80, they nearly had a moment on pit road as they will now head back to the racetrack. Looks like a couple of others near the back of the field may come on to pit road, or look like it is Landon Huffman, the 31, might come on to pit road to possibly get a tear off the windshield of their race cars. But Crawford definitely has the run this evening. It's just a matter of, as we said before, closing the deal and actually taking the checkered flag first here this evening. And I know where Dakota is, Mike. He went down to the hot dog stand, and I think I know who he found down there. Our colleague from a couple of weeks ago, Brian Schoenberg, I know he enjoys the canteen down there at Homestead Miami Speedway. I know he's enjoying a fantastic race down there.
Oh, I'm sure he does. Brian's an excitable guy, and I'm sure with that last wreck with the 78 and the 15 and everything that went on after that, I'm sure Brian was getting quite excited. So I'm sure Dakota's down there just trying to feed him something just to kind of calm him down a little bit. Maybe a cold one from the ETV cooler to go with the hot dog. But you're making me hungry. I haven't eaten in a couple hours, Tim, and all this hot dog talk, it's making me very hungry. I don't know about you, but I'm about ready to get me one.
I've heard of stories about Brian Schoenberg having cold ones at Homestead, and some of those are not, I've heard that could very well be a little more than a PG rated, so we'll leave that for that. And that's one of the things, it's a great thing about iRacing. We have a time to talk about it here as well. End of the season, of course, with the NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship wrapping up in October. Usually there's an iRacers dinner down at Homestead prior to the finale for the Sprint Cup Series, and one of those things that I haven't been able to get to yet, Mike, but the likes of Schoenberg, of course, Ray Alfala, the champion the last couple of years. I know John Adams was there one year, and a bunch of other drivers and different iRacing members there each year. So if you're looking to make a trip in the 2013 season, you might want to put that Homestead Miami Speedway date on your calendar for November.
Yeah, those guys, a lot of guys go down religiously every year. I know, like you said, Brian is one. Ray's gone down the last 2 years for obvious reasons. I'm sure he would go anyway. He's in the state, so I'm sure he'd go up and meet everybody up there as well. But, it's a really cool deal. I watched the video of it from a couple of years ago. The guys all go out to Ruby Tuesdays, and with the staff members, they have a meal, and, get a couple cold ones and off the drive. So, that's fun and everything. But they make a weekend out of it. They watch the races, get to go in the garage, and have a lot of fun. So it's cool to see a bunch of guys that race each other online actually get to meet each other in real life, and that's what iRacing does. It creates friendships. It really does. So a lot of guys on here met on here and are pretty good friends in real life. So that's definitely cool to see.
And it looks like we're getting ready to make some more friendships, or maybe lack thereof, as we get ready to go racing once again. Lap 63 going to be in the books as the first racing Ford Mustang pace car. We'll get ready to head to the infield here. And Jared Crawford once again will be on the hammer. There he goes. Green flag flies. It's now the 8, the 40, and the 72 going at it for position at number 2. As the 8 currently occupies it, going to be 40-72 going at it side by side into corner number 1 as the 40 will take the spot.
Looks like the 40's going to take it. Malone's going to try to look under the 72 as well. Not going to happen. Now the 14's going to look over the back bumper. The 92 going to stay too wide. You got your points leader on the outside. That's Chad Lawton. Under him is still Malone. They go side by side. They get a little bit close right there through the center to 3 and 4. Off the corner, Malone gets a nice run. He'll almost clear the 26, but that little bit more banking on the top, Tim, gives the 26 a great run off the corner, and he'll edge the 92 going into turn number 1.
Yeah, 26-92 continue to be side by side. 92 going to try to take the spot. The 14 there as well. And look at the 25. Richie Davidowitz, top 10 run so far for the number 25 as we work up to the halfway point in this event. Still a long way to go, but great run for Davidowitz in the 25.
Yeah, solid run. We haven't seen him up here a whole lot this season. Hasn't run the full schedule at all. Oh! God, that was close. That was almost the points leader taking a header into the inside wall. You might have some left side damage from that, but that could have been a whole lot worse. Wow, that was close.
John Westling, I want you to save the video of that incident there because that could have saved the championship for Chad Lawton in the number 26. It's still not over yet. Lawton is back here swatting flies. The 27, the 07, 66 up the racetrack into the 07. That's going to be a wreck. He's into the wall, and the caution flag, I believe, is going to stay in the hand of the starter. So we're going to stay green flag racing here, but you saw that coming.
That was really close. As I was watching the 26 gather back up, I saw Burmeister getting to the door of the 07 and almost sent him around, but a lot of good saves tonight. That 26 just made a good one, and that's why he's the points leader, because he can do stuff like that and still rebound. He's only back to 14th, Lawton is. Again, Crawford's making up a lot of points on him right now, but you never know what's going to happen before this thing is over. Again, it's 4 wins to Lawton to 0 Crawford, so now obviously Lawton knows how to get it done, so we'll see if he can't regroup right here and try to get back up to the front and catch his teammate.
03 and 12 and 97 have a moment in corner number 1 as the 12 car up the racetrack. The 3 followed him up there in the 97, trying to send a statement as well. The 31 and now 12 side by side, and here come your point leader again, Chad Lawton, looking to pick up a couple of spots that he lost.
Yeah, he's trying. He just absolutely nowhere to go. Nowhere to go on the bottom. Nowhere to go on the top. Oh, no! Oh, God. Geez, he's going to give me a heart attack, this guy, Tim. I don't know what... Uh-oh, wreck in front of him. He's going to come back down the track. Handle with him, and I can take a deep breath. You can take it from here, Tim.
John Westling, you might want to save that replay as well because Chad Lawton nearly lost the championship again. Number 26, Brandon Schmidt, is the one that is around, and he has heavy rear end damage to the number 3 core pipe car as the caution flag will fly here again. After contact with the 97 of Carson Downs, looks like 97 of Downs goes up the racetrack a little bit into the corner, develops a little bit of push, and pushes into the 3.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, nothing. I'm going to look back at it right here. I'm looking at John bring it up on the E-Play screen. They do go down into turn number 1. 97 on the bottom, 3 on the outside. Yeah, the 97 just slides up the track into the 3, so that's not a good night for Jay's show, and not a good night for Brandon either. First run with his new team, and unfortunately, it's going to be cut short here tonight at Homestead, just past halfway.
Wesley Outland is down there with the rest of this field. The 83 of Jarrett Crawford is leading them down. We'll see if Crawford will lose the lead here. He hasn't done it all night, Wesley. On pit road, he's been joined by the rest of the field.
Yeah, the Impala Chevrolet 83 comes onto pit road. Jared Crawford, he's been dominating the entire race. Behind him, Dustin Montgomery. One machine stays onto the racetrack. That's going to be Matt Whitten in the 69 car, rolling the dice. The 40 machine, the orange 40. Joshua Lawton goes onto pit road. Josh Berry's on pit road. 96, so Richard Doucette's on pit road. Let's follow now your leader, the man that's been dominating the race the entire go-around here for the NASCAR iRacing Pro Series here tonight. One machine off pit road first, 26. It's Lawton off pit road first in the 26 car. Chad Lawton beats Jared Crawford at the line. It is official, 26 off in front of Crawford, guys. 2 right side tires and fuel as Jared Crawford took on all 4 sides back onto the racetrack. This is going to get interesting, fellas.
I'll tell you what, guys. I think the crew chief of that car bribed the team with the hot dog, ATV Live hot dog, guys.
How are the hot dogs, Dakota?
Oh, they're great. I'm telling you, they're not very cheap though. That's the only downside.
I thought
Yeah,
Schoenberg was
so
putting the
good.
bill
You
tonight.
sound different.
Yeah.
I guess Brian must have ran out of money down there, Mike. I'm not sure what the situation is. I know where he's running to, though. He's running down to the 78 of Danny Hansen as Hansen now comes on to pit road, and the front end of that car looks a little confused on the right-hand side.
Yeah, it looks like it needs one of those Florida $25 margaritas that Brian knows all about. So they'll give one to Danny as he pulls down to his pit stall, because I believe he's going to be there for a while trying to repair some of that damage from that wreck with the 15 of Connors a little bit earlier on in the race. So I think Danny needs a margarita. I think that whole J Show team needs a cold one right now. It has not been a very good night for them, as Brian would call it. It's been a train wreck night for the J Show cars. And not sure what he's doing.
Yeah, Tim, Mike, I don't know what's going on, buddy. It just come through the radio. The crew chief is talking to the spotters up top, and the 66 of Benjamin Burmeister stalls his car onto the racetrack. Now he gets back going again. We'll definitely try to find up a story on that and see what's going on with that 66 Chevrolet.
Yeah, back on the racetrack now as he will, I believe, retake that 16th place spot that he was pacing in. So we'll see what happens there. Meanwhile, up in front, the big story, guys, 70 laps for Jared Crawford. He finally loses the lead at Witten. Stays out on the racetrack. He will take that lead. Chad Lawton will roll the dice with 2 tires. And really, you look at it here, guys. The 26, the point leader, had 2 amazing saves on that last run. And maybe he thought, I really don't want to be back here with this mess, per se, as these guys were going at it. It's tough to make a call like that, but we'll see if it works for Chad Lawton.
Yeah, it's well, the car's not handling very well. He was already loose, and well, if he was loose, then he's going to be very loose now. 2 right side tires usually makes you a lot looser, but you can never know. And then you have the 69 at Witten in front of him, so that's really going to put him at a disadvantage. Lawton, that is. He's going to start on the outside. He can't control the restart, and he's going to be, again, he's going to be in the outside on older tires. Everyone, a bunch of hungry drivers behind him. As I call them, hungry hippos behind him, on 4 fresh tires. So Lawton's really going to have to try to get down here, get in line, and try to make something of this.
Hey, what's that old saying goes? Dinner is served and plenty of scraps to go around, and that's going to be what the 69 of Matt Witten's going to be for the entire field of Lawton, Crawford, Montgomery, Berry. As you know, I hate to say it, guys, he is going to be a sitting duck in that 69 car, and I'm telling you, the man that might capitalize on this restart's the guy that got off pit road first, Chad Lawton. But you got to remember, Tim Terry, as we get ready to come for the restart, he only took on 2 sides of rubber, as Crawford, the man that's led the entire race, took on 4. Burmeister's car, just some type of a handling issue. They got it back going again electrical-wise. They're ready to come for the restart, guys. Back to you upstairs.
Here they come. Green flag flies. Witten is gone. The 83 of Jared Crawford trying to take away second now from the 26 of Chad Lawton. Looks like Lawton is going to fall into line. No, the 83 going to toss it in on the number 26 side by side for the spot. Crawford trying to take it away.
That was a nice toss from Ether right there, but he had the line. He's going to take it. He knows he's got to get around that 26 if he wants to go into next week with the points lead. They still battle side by side. That's a Wheelman. 2, 3, 4. Looks like 5 or 6 right now. Yep, Barry's going to get around. So 2, 3, 6. 2, 3, 4, 6 for Wheelman. And now we have a battle for the lead. 69 slips out of turn number 4. 83 gets to the bottom of them. They go through 1 and 2. It looks like 83 is going to have the preferred line. Tim, he inches ahead of the 69. Now he clears him. The 8's going to go through. 26 a Lawton falls into line in the 5th position for Lawton. He'll try to hold that position. Gives the 72 a little bump down the backstretch to get around the 69.
69 falling back 40-14 side by side. Make it interesting when they get there. Lawton going to fall back in behind the 14 here maybe and make the pass on the 69 Doucette, and Malone are side by side back there as well. As they go at it, they see the 69 in front of them. We'll see what happens there. Meanwhile, big story, Crawford back up to the lead, and Chad Lawton through that exchange does not lead a lap. That's 1 point that Jared Crawford has prevented Chad Lawton from getting so far this evening through 76 laps.
And meanwhile, in the back, the 69 continues to hold up the top and fall to the back while he's doing that. Now he's got the 92 trap behind him. He had the 40 trap behind him before. Lawton went ahead. He's about 5 positions ahead of the 69. Now the 69 gets to the bottom in front of Sturgis. So that should be the 9th position for Witten right there as he almost gets into the back of the 69. The 41 goes way to the bottom right there. Tries to get under the 69. The 92 is going to give someone a little bit of a tap right there. Pushes the 69 down the backstretch. Sturgis has the bottom. They go side by side through 3 and 4.
Carson Downs back up here in the mix in the number 97. He almost gets into the 92 of Casey Malone as the Pro Geek Consulting number 97 sails it on past, and he looks like to pick up a spot. The 69 pulls down into line in front of the number 97. 92 now has the 66 to his quarter, as 66 will look to pick up a spot as well and dispose the 92 back 1 spot.
That was really close, right? I thought Burmeister and Malone almost got into it. Now Malone's going to have pressure from the 27. He does get clear, though, and he will clear the battle behind him. That's Bias and Bennett back there battling for position right around the top 15. Now the 97 of Downs a couple spots ahead. He'll go for the 11th position under the 69 of Witten into turn number 1.
There goes the 69 to the outside line, just behind them, 31 and 07. Bennett and Crone go at it side by side. Lots of action here, guys, trying to pick up quick spots on this field. Meanwhile, just keeping a half eye on that battle there, guys. The 8 has caught the 83 for the lead, but hasn't been able to make a move on him yet.
No, he's inching closer and closer every lap, Tim, but just hasn't been able to get there just yet, as you said. But it looks like Montgomery is very fast here tonight. Looks like really he's the biggest competition for the 83 so far. We've seen him be able to run right up to the back bumper of that 83, but not be able to make a move on him. What I'm really impressed with, Tim, is the 26, Lawton. He's on older tires than all these guys, and he's slotted himself in the 4th and is running very strong, just ahead of Brandon Cattell. And after spinning after almost spinning out about 5 times and looking like the car is a complete piece of junk, it looks like track position has really rectified most of his problems here tonight.
Yeah, if we go another 20 laps or so, let's say, and get a caution flag, then he's going to be able to come down and likely get 4 tires with the rest of the field and still be in decent position in order to get a top 5 run. And considering the last 20 laps or so that he's had, I would say he'd be happy with a top 5 run, even though, you know, he's won 4 races of the 7 this season. He's been dominant, but he's had a pretty eventful night so far.
And the battle for lead is getting really close up here. 83 got the 8. Or the 83, no, the 8 got the 83 to wiggle, which made the 8 wiggle somehow, some way. They both had a huge wiggle off the corner, so that really ended the 8's run to try to get around the 83, but now he's back up to his back bumper off of 2. It's a nice run down the backstretch, not close enough. He'll try to do the same thing off of 4, get that front bumper tucked up behind the 83's back bumper, try to get him a little bit of air loose as we work the center of the corner. 8 gets a nice run, really gets him through the center of 3 and 4, slides up just a little bit. They both wiggle just a little bit once again, come across the start-finish line. They're separated by less than half a car length.
They passed 58 of Philip Geist to put Geist another lap down. That'll be 2 laps down for the number 58 car as Barry runs in 3rd behind your battle for the lead position. Looks like the 40 will pass the lapped car, as will the 96 and 25. About top 10 so far, single file, as they make their way past the lapped car, the 58 of Philip Geist.
Ooh. This is really fun to watch up here, Tim. This is really entertaining. You get, a little bit of a look right there. He backs off. No toss for the 8 and the 83. But no, I mean, this is really fun to watch. You can see Crawford is mirror driving, really more than he's windshield driving, and I can't blame him. You got that 8 tucked up behind your back bumper like that. You're going to start to drive out of that mirror, but you can see he's getting really loose off of turn 4, trying to keep the 8 behind him, because I can see every time when they cut right there, the 8 gets through the center of that corner, can really pull up to the back bumper of the 83. It's a great run right there, but still a little. Oh, he's still. God. He saved it. He's going to fall back to 3rd, though. Hopefully he can keep it off to 72. 72 sees him coming. He moves up the track. And as they enter the screen once again, and the 8 manages to stay in 2nd, Tim. Lawton's going to try to take away 3rd out of that.
I'm sure Lawton was holding his breath, because that was him about 15 laps to go, as Chad Lawton will pick up position number 3. Barry will fall back to position number 4. But I'm sure Barry will try to fight back for that one, as he was shuffled there to that outside. The 8 is continuing to run in 2nd, but instead of being right on the back bumper of the leader, he is now 0.7 of a second behind your leader, as the 14 shows the business to the 72.
Cattell looks really stronger in the second half of the race as well. Really didn't see too much of him. He was riding right around the outside of the top 10, and now it looks like he's solidified himself in the top 5. It's a really good run for him. He's hit the 40. Josh Lawton, looks like Rich Doucette back there. Richie Davidowitz closing in on him just a little bit, but really a strong run for Cattell, who's, I believe he's 19th in points, Tim, so he could definitely use a good run tonight to kind of lock himself in next week at the finale. That'll definitely take a load off of his mind if he can get a good run tonight and gain some valuable points.
Looking to really solidify himself and lock himself into the 2013 NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship, which will be starting in the next month or so, as Crawford leads this field now by 0.6 of a second. Looks like Montgomery closed in that last lap. We'll see what he's doing here on this lap. Indeed, a little bit quicker that time by a couple of hundreds from Jared Crawford's time, and he's got Lawton, Barry, Cattell behind him, and it looks like Montgomery just barely, just a little bit quicker than that driver behind him, and a little bit quicker than that driver in front of him.
Yeah, definitely. So even after those tires up, he's able to really rebound very quickly and start to work back to the back bumper. The 83 slides wide right there. He's going to keep getting loose if he does that. He's going to try to keep that car on the bottom just a little bit more. Runs a 31.808 to his teammates 31.810. So 2/1000ths of a second separate the top two. And Lawton wasn't far off at all. He was at an 826. Barry was the fastest car out of all of them with a 747. So right now Barry looks to be the fastest car, but it looks like that's interchanging every lap between the top four.
It looks like the 8 car, as you mentioned, the top 4 exchanging laps, but it looks like the 8 car might be just a touch quicker than your leader each lap. This time by, once again, Montgomery closes in, and actually he closes in about a quarter tenth that last lap by. So Montgomery is quicker, but it's only by a few hundredths of a second a lap. With next time by, it looks like we're going to have 44 laps remaining in the event. Still got a long way to go. If you're shaving off a couple of hundredths a lap, with 44 to go and only 0.5 of a second to make up, it's going to be an exciting finish to this race, I think.
Yeah, most certainly is, and they may have to look at fuel too. Their last pit stop, I know at least Montgomery's last pit stop is on lap 73. So, that'd be quite a long way to go to the end. That'd be about 60 laps for these guys. So, it's going to be really close on fuel. Maybe Crawford saving just a little bit of fuel up there. I don't really know if he is, or maybe the 8's just a little bit faster. But if we don't get another caution at the end of this, by the end of this race, Tim, and it really doesn't look like we are with how spread out things are starting to get, it might come down to fuel mileage, and maybe someone at the back of this pack might be saving fuel that could come up to the front and steal this thing.
It's a great opportunity to do so now. If you are Jared Crawford, you're out in front. And keep in mind, you have 2 teammates behind you right now. Dustin Montgomery is quick. And more than likely, if your teammates are there, more than likely you're on the same setup thereabouts underneath those race cars. So you kind of know what your teammates have when it comes to fuel mileage, and you know how your teammates drive to save fuel. So if you're going to save fuel, Jared Crawford's in a pretty good situation right now because he knows his surroundings of who's around him and what they're going to do.
All these guys that are all the teammates, first, second, third, and it looks like 6 now sixth? Yeah, 6th. With Lawton, they all know what they're doing and put Doucette into that mix as well. I believe he's back in the 8th position. They all know what they're doing. They all know their driving styles. They know how they think. They know how they act. They've been a team for quite some time now, so they're established. So if one is saving fuel, they'll definitely catch wind of it or figure it out if no one tells them. But again, they are running the fastest lap times of the race, so they're not going to get as good a fuel mileage as someone, possibly like Chris Overland back here in 24th, who's running a 32.23 the last time. Tim, Jared Crawford was at a 31.86, so that's about a half a second difference. A little bit less, maybe about 0.4 of a second difference, but still, you have 0.4 every lap. That would save Overland enough fuel to make it to the end, while the 83 and everyone else up front possibly can't make it. So this is definitely going to get interesting by the time this thing's over.
Lap number 95 being worked on the board for your leader, Jared Crawford. Dustin Montgomery in second, and actually Crawford that last time stepped it up a little bit. He was about 0.04 of a second faster than Dustin Montgomery. Chad Lawton in third, Barry fourth, Cattell in fifth. Josh Lawton, check that. Richie Davidowitz, Rich Doucette, Joey Brown, Jake Sturgis, top 10, all single file. Looking back here, first battle might be around Bias, Downs, and Vinny Sansone. Sansone's a lap car. They're going to move past him, but the 27's been knocking on the door of a top 12 run with Carson Downs in front of him.
Yeah, Bias has had a pretty strong run tonight. He was top 5 in the warm-up like we mentioned before, and right now he's solidly inside the top 15 and 13th, looking to take the 12th spot away from the 97 of Downs. So solid run for Bias. I believe he was the 2012 Class A Season 1 champion. If not Season 1, maybe it was Season 2. But he's definitely a champion one of those seasons, and that's very hard to do. Had a great season, was a smart racer, and had a lot of points every week, so he knows how to gain points, he knows how to race, he's a great guy, and he knows what he's doing out here. He hasn't had the luck, I don't believe, this season to really show what he's got, but it looks like he'll make it into the 2013 NISWC season, so we'll see what he can do there in a couple months' time when it starts.
Another driver I see creeping back here as well is that 75 car of Landon Huffman running in position number 15, the sim seats number 75, and covered a late model race last night, and he started behind the 8 ball, a couple of laps down, made his way back up onto the lead lap, and methodically worked his way up to the front of the field before an incident took him out of contention for the race. And I'm seeing about the same here, Mike. Qualified subpar, qualified 23rd, starts working his way to the front. He's up to 15th now. He might not have, let's say, a top 5 car like some of these drivers do, but by the end of the race he might be in the top 10, and keep in mind, top 10, you get a little bit of points for that, and it'll help towards the 2013 NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship as Landon Huffman now battles with Derek Crone for position 15.
And Huffman running the fixed setup RSR series, if it's taught him anything, it's definitely taught him how to drive a tight race car, it's taught him throttle control, it's taught him how to save a right front tire, among other things. So he's got a lot of different experience compared to everyone else. You really saw him on the RSR scene before really anything else. He really made his name last season to make his run for pro, and he did successfully. But before that, we saw him here on ETV every week, really doing very well in the RSR series, in which he won the championship in this last season. So he's got a little bit of a different outlook to some of these races, maybe a different outlook to strategy too. Maybe fuel and tires might come into play when he thinks about that. So we'll see. He's a couple tenths off the leader's pace, like you said. Definitely not a top 5 car, but maybe he'll be good enough on fuel just running that little bit slower, and that might put him up a couple positions as well if people start to run out or have to pit.
Looking back here, 97 Carson Downs, 27 Cody Bias exchange that position at 12, so Bias will move into the top 12. Brandon Cattell up here doing a little bit of dancing with the 78 of Danny Hansen, as Hansen is the lap down vehicle. He falls back behind this field here as the 40 closes in now on the 14 of Brandon Cattell at position number 5, and he goes to the inside. Josh Lawton moves into the top 5.
And meanwhile, it looks like he has been cut down just a little bit more. Montgomery's now within a half a second from Crawford. Last time by, Crawford at a 93 and Montgomery at a 95, so a little bit quicker for Crawford that last time. But somehow, 83 must have got held up just a little bit, and that allowed Montgomery and Lawton to close in just a tad.
Jared Crawford continues to lead here. It's 0.3 of a second between your top 2. Chad Lawton in third, 0.7 back. Barry and Josh Lawton complete your top 5. Chad Lawton, of course, in position number 3 right now, with Cattell, Davidowitz, Doucette, Brown, and Sturgis completing your top 10 as we run down the back straightaway. 103 being worked on the board, as it looks like the 92 of Casey Malone was looking at the 41 down the back straightaway for 10th.
Malone trying to pick a position right there. I'm hearing rumors in the spec chat that Sturgis might be saving just a little bit of fuel. If indeed he is, he's probably one of the higher running cars that is doing that strategy, if you want to call it that. I know Chris Overland way in the back is doing it, but he's 14.5 seconds behind the leader. Sturgis is only 4.1 behind. So, if it came down between those two, Sturgis would have a 10-second lead. He would, of course, win out. And, we've seen Sturgis win before on strategy, too, Tim. I think back to Vegas last year where his team rolled the dice. They stayed out a little bit longer, caught a lucky caution, had a 20-lap shootout to the end, and ended up coming out on top when he ran, I'd say, about mid-pack the whole race. So Sturgis is no stranger to strategy. You don't want to go into the corner like that. Crunch, into the wall he goes. That's going to hurt him a little bit. He's going to lose his spot. But I don't think he hit it too hard, Tim. He should be okay.
Yeah, he sailed her on in there to corner number 1 and missed the corner by about 8 lengths. But I was about to say that you look at Sturgis, and Las Vegas wasn't the only time that he's done that. It's the only time it's come out as a victory. But there's times before where Sturgis has tried that strategy, and it's come out with a top 10 finish or a top 15 finish, and they all pay points at the end of the season. Sturgis is essentially a lock for next season's NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship, top 5 in the points. He really has nothing to lose but he could very well win a race here before the end of the season if the strategy works out, as looks like Chambron going down one more lap to your leaders, as it looks like for the most part everybody else up in front is staying single file and logging some laps right now.
I'll tell you what, guys, I've been listening on the radio, Jared Crawford, and it might look calm up there, but it is not. He's screaming on the radio that he's not very happy with the car. It looks like he's sliding every time he gets off the corner, through the corner. He's had to change up his line, and that's why Dustin Montgomery's catching him. Jared Crawford is crazy loose, guys.
We continue to work here on 107 as Jarrett Crawford completes that lap right here. Montgomery is now within 0.3 of a second, about 2 car lengths or so between your top two, and Chad Lawton continues to be about 0.7 of a second behind. So Montgomery seems like it's almost like a yo-yo. He comes up to the back of the 83, and then he had his little moment there on the earlier part of this run, and now he's back to the back of Jarrett Crawford. We'll see what he can do here as we close off lap 108, this time of 134. We're getting down to the finish of this.
And Crawford slid a little wide off of turn 4 right there, lost a little bit of time. Actually, no, he gained a little bit of time overall in that lap. About 3/100ths over his teammate Montgomery in second, about another 4/100ths over Chad Lawton in third. So just very close right now. Oh, no one's really gaining on each other as the 83 slips a little bit there off too. Not going to help that lap at all. Montgomery closes very quickly down the backstretch that time, so it should be Montgomery's lap to gain. Cuts the center of 3 and 4 very well. Gets a nice launch off. Looks like that 8 car is tightened up a little bit. Maybe the dirty air from the 83 has kind of helped the handling of that car as he picks up about a half a second right there on the leader. But Tim, they're just so close right now, it's very hard to make up any ground on either one of them.
Down the back straightaway your leaders go, as it looks like the Kyle Gatula machine is the next driver to go another lap down. Jarrett Crawford sees the 8 in his rear view mirror as that 8 car, the TDH delivery number 8, continues to get a little bit bigger.
Yeah, he had a nice corner that time. Really cut the center well. Nice lap too, a 31.93. That's another 4/100ths off the gap in between him and the 83. I was trying to listen. I think the 26 might be pitting this time, Dakota, and it looks like he's going to peel off this time. I'm guessing a little bit of fuel strategy here, trying to short pit, maybe gain some time on the leaders.
Yes, sir. Everybody knows the sooner you get down the road, the more time you'll make up early, but they can make it up later. He's on old tires. Remember, he did take 2 last time he was down trying to gain track position. It worked out. He was able to stay up front as he gets really loose trying to get in pit road. 4 tire. I'm hearing 4 tires of fuel, but they might change that strategy. He's just trying to get out of pit road as quick as they can here, guys.
And he's not the only one down there. I see Wesley Outland and the 12, Joey Brown, is going to come down to the attention of him.
Yeah, no doubt about it, guys. These are what you want to call the money stop. It's time to lay your cards on the table. Hope you brought enough to the end of the dance here at Homestead as the number 12 Chevrolet, Joey Brown, just a little splash of Sunoco gasoline. He's back onto the racetrack, ready to join the finish.
2 tires for Chad Lawton, by the way.
So 2 tires there for Lawton. That might cost him a little bit as the leader continues to stay out on the racetrack. The 83 of Jarrett Crawford, the 8 of Dustin Montgomery on lap 113. Keep in mind, just over 20 laps to go in this one. And the short pit strategy, Mike, we'll see if it works out here for some of those guys.
Hey, it's going to be definitely interesting. Now, Brown is about a complete corner ahead of Lawton. So Lawton on those 2 tires, I don't think he's going to have enough time to catch Brown. I really think the best strategy from this point on out, Tim, will be a splash of fuel, and that's it. You know, maybe that's 2 seconds worth of a pit stop time, while 2 tires might be 6 or 7 seconds. You cannot afford to lose that time late in this race when you don't have the time to make it up. Now Lawton has to try to gain time in the 12. He's got to play offense, really can't play defense. Looks like the 75 is going to peel off this time. Dakota, oh, he's going to miss pit road. He's going to slide up back under the track. Oh, and he saved it. What a nice save. I don't believe he can come onto pit road this time. He's probably going to get a black flag for this. Dakota, maybe he won't, possibly. What's he going to do down there anyway?
He's going to get a black flag, all right. Even that because he did miss that grass, he's got to be on that access road at least for when he hits a certain mark when he comes off there. So he should have possibly gone to the grass. I think would have been a way to go, but yeah, overshot the pit stop coming in, and I'm hearing just maybe fuel only, possibly a few tires there, not sure.
So as we continue to work under the green flag here on lap 116, it continues to be 83 and 8 leading the field around. Josh Berry now in third, Josh Lawton fourth. And look who's made it into the top 5. Richie Davidowitz in position number 5. 3 wide behind him is Casey Malone and Rich Doucette. Lap Vinny Sansone, and Malone will pick up 6th.
83 is going to pull off down to Wesley.
This is it, guys, the money stop. Everybody has talked about it. You're going to take a splash of fuel. Looks like he ought to have just been wiggling the car just to make it onto pit road. Jared Crawford dropping back to 4th on your scoring pylon, now outside the top 10. But again, all these other guys in the front have got to make a pit stop as well. He slows it down to 45 miles an hour on pit road, and the 83 Chevrolet crew ready to go to work. Only one thing, splash of fuel, get him down and away for the finish. He's on pit road less than 2.5 seconds, and he roars back onto the racetrack, ready to contend for the checkered flag. Guys, back upstairs.
Hey guys, Danny Hansen might have a right front tire coming down. I heard them come over race control and say that his right front tire is wearing out and is ready to blow, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that 78. Hopefully that doesn't happen. We've only seen one blown tire so far this year, Tim, and it came at this track with Matt Witt in the 69 before a rain delay. So you never know what's going to happen here. Let's hope that 78 keep that tire under him so we can finish this thing under green, because it's shaping up a very exciting finish.
Dustin Montgomery continues to lead. 1:19 being worked on the board now. When does he and the rest of your top 6, 10 or so come on to pit road here? Sturgis, keep in mind, in 8th place. He's one of the best on the service, as here comes the 8 down onto pit road, and I was going to finish that, one of the best at saving fuel on the service. As your leader is now on the access road, coming down to pit road. Barry will stay out, and it will lead this lap. Lawton will stay out, Davidowitz will stay out, Casey Malone and Rich Doucette also stay out. Wesley, 8 car on pit road.
And I'm wondering if he might get busted for speeding on pit road, guys. It looked like he might have been speeding before he hit the pit road commitment. I don't know about you guys. Okay, they're saying he's clean. He was okay. I don't know. That my speedometer might have been a little bit off. I might need to get my what do you call it? The telemetry check there. But nonetheless, here comes the 8 of Dustin Montgomery. Splash of fuel, just like Crawford, just like the other guys at Brown and Company. He'll come back onto the racetrack, and he'll try to contend the race for the victory. And now Josh Berry out in front with a 2.2 second lead over Josh Lawton.
Hey guys, I just want to update on Landon Huffman and the black flag status. He was held on pit road. He took a fuel only stop, but he was held on pit road for the amount of time it would take to take tires a little bit longer. So he will lose a lot of time on the track, guys.
Barry continues to stand on the racetrack right now. Your lucky dog position is the 8 of Dustin Montgomery. The 83 of Jarrett Crawford is behind the 8 of Dustin Montgomery. So it looks like if this does cycle out and everybody does end up either run out of fuel or come onto pit road, it's Dustin Montgomery's race to win. And we've seen this play out before. Jarrett Crawford on the wrong side of the inch when it comes to the checkered flag and winning one of these things.
Yeah, he can just never catch up. You can see the 8 is quite a bit ahead of the 83. Just I guess a better pit road entry. That must have been where it was made up, because now you have, it looks like they both unlapped each other. Nope, they're still lapped down. Davidowitz is going to come down this time by, but I was trying to say, it all matters on how you get down to pit road, Wesley Outland.
Problems on pit road. Richie Davidowitz trying to get down to 45 miles an hour. Spins the car entering pit road. You want to talk about a costly mistake? Oh, yeah, that just got him big time here at the end of this show.
Hey, one of the hardest parts about getting on pit road, guys, is the brakes here. They tend to lock up easy, and that's why you've seen everybody wiggling when they come in, as people say. They're locking up the brakes, pretty much trying to slow these things down, but they're trying to use as much speed as they can to lose as little time as possible. That's what happened to Richie Davidowitz, but fuel only stop for him, guys.
And everybody else in the top 13 still on the racetrack right now, and keeping it on the racetrack. I think a lot of these guys might be in fuel conservation mode as Josh Berry this time by. We'll see 10 laps to go. He stays on the racetrack in the number 72, but a tough break for Richie Davidowitz after running so strong in his return to this series. Top 5 continue to stay out, and actually looks like Chad Lawton just passed Rich Doucette, albeit Chad Lawton is 1 lap down. The battle for that position is actually Doucette and Bias. Bias behind the number 96 of Rich Doucette, as is Sturgis, as is Carson Downs.
I'm keeping my eye on 47-77 battle. You know, again, they're 21.8, 22.6 seconds behind the leader. You know, they've been saving this whole run, and they're still saving. I don't see how that 41 can make it from here, Tim. 96 is down this time, Oda.
Yeah, 96 coming down pit road here, guys. Richard Doucette getting down the axis. We're going to see whether he can get off pit road properly or not, whether he spins it or not. He's taking it a lot easier than some of these other guys. Looks like he will be close on speed, but he should be good. Going to come down, splash and go, and he should be gone. Casey Malone is coming down also, Wesley.
Yeah, Casey Malone just hit the outside pit barrier wall as he came onto pit road as well, 45 miles an hour where he's got to go. He's given up the 10th position as here comes the rest of the field flying by at the start-finish line. As now you see the 96 of Richard Doucette pass by him. And it's going to be Malone coming on pit road, taking on a splash of fuel. Actually, his pit stop taking longer than expected, as definitely looks might be some problems for Casey Malone of the 92 car.
You got to believe here, guys, that the 72 Josh Berry definitely out in front of the field. He's got 3 seconds on Josh Lawton. Cody Bias in position number 3, and Bias is going to come to pit road this time by and hand third place over to, as I mentioned before, one of the best drivers at saving fuel on this service, Jake Sturgis. Sturgis right now in position number 3, 5 seconds behind as Cody Bias heads to pit road. Josh Lawton also coming down from position number 2, guys.
So that's going to bump Jake Sturgis up to the second spot as those drivers hit pit road. 27, Cody Bias, the 40, machine of Joshua Lawton, all on there. And here comes your leader, Josh Berry. He'll finally commit and come to pit road. He's on the commitment road. And now the 97 car, Carson Downs, is also going to commit as well. And you talk about it cycling around just like you would at NASCAR's Sprint Cup race. The 97 of Carson Downs is spun, and it looks like we're going to get a caution, guys.
This is going to change everything. 41 of Jake Sturgis is your leader as Berry was coming down, Downs was coming down, and obviously you saw that spin there. And Lawton came down on that lap there. Cody Bias came down there on that lap and a half or so, Mike. Everybody essentially has been down to get service on their race cars with the exception of Overland and the 41 of Sturgis. Sturgis bypasses the pace car and bypasses the mouth of pit road here. You have to think that he's really close on fuel. We are going to have a restart here. He's going to have to fend off these guys and hope that thing don't sputter.
Yeah, he's certainly going to have to. I think he'll have it. I mean, I don't know if he's going to have enough fuel. It's going to be really close, but you don't use a lot of fuel under caution. Wow. That's a shame. I really wanted to see that thing go to the end. Got a lot of different strategies playing out, and unfortunately the J-Show train wreck continues right there. Yeah, just throw it out the wind, Wesley's telling me. That's it. I don't even know we're going to go back to green here. It's going to be very close if we do.
We just took 5 laps to go right there. I believe we're going to have possibly a 1-lap shootout here. Sturgis, Bennett, I believe, are the only 2 guys that stayed out on the racetrack. Fayash, Overland, Kashiba come in this time, guys, down on pit road. Some of these guys abandoning the strategy here.
Yeah, Kashiba's car going to definitely roll the dice, so to speak. Crapshoot in Vegas here at Homestead. 4 tires, new Sunoco fuel also being added. And, of course, it looks like now the 77 of Andrew Fash III also going to come to pit road. He'll only take a splash of fuel. Dakota Airman, any in front of you on the midsection?
I've been kind of watching some of these guys. I actually don't see many coming in, but the guys that I were watching were the guys that stayed out, Jared Crawford, Dustin Montgomery, and they're not picking up any spots. A lot of guys staying out here, actually, which rather surprises me. You would think that maybe Jake Sturgis would come down or somebody like that, but he looks to be staying out here under this caution, I guess.
And guys, one driver we did not mention in that is Carson Downs. Downs did not come down pit road. He had that spin. He brings out the caution. He's going to restart in position number 3 here when we do go green, if we do go green. One thing I'm seeing here, we're going to see this scoring loop here, but you're going to have guys that were running strong before that caution flew. Barry, Josh Lawton, Dustin Montgomery, Jarrett Crawford. Chad Lawton is behind the pace car right now. He's going to get the wave by. He'll be up here in the top 10 somewhere as well. There's going to be some guys here that have dominated this race, have been up front all race long, that are going to want to get past these three in front, and then Brandon Cattell's been hanging around the top 5 all night long. Chris Overland is out on the racetrack, still in position number 5. Looked like he was. I thought he was going to abandon the strategy, but looks like he's still out there. There's a couple of interesting guys up here, interesting characters up here in the top 10.
There certainly are a lot of drivers. Jake Sturgis, Peter Bennett, Carson Downs, Brandon Cattell, Chris Overland. And once again, Tim, it looks as if Jared Crawford is not going to win after dominating the whole night. That's just, that's tough for him, but on the bright side, for him at least, he's 4 positions ahead of Lawton, so, that's 4 gained points, plus the extra points for leading the most laps and leading a lap. I'm not sure if Chad got across the start-finish line first, at least one time tonight. I'll have to check the results after the race, which will be coming up shortly here. But it's definitely going to be a points gain for Crawford if nothing crazy happens on this restart, which I'm sure something crazy will definitely happen on this restart. It just depends on whether the 83's in it or not. Yeah, well, let's hope we don't have a demo derby, but the late restarts in this series get pretty crazy. We're going to have 2 to go when we get to green, and it's going to be wild, I can tell you that.
And look at Sturgis on the apron, conserving as much fuel as he can. Peter Bennett on the outside. Obviously, he has to restart there, but he's on the outside of the racetrack, on the up line, the 14 of Brandon Cattell as well, the 47 of Overland. If anybody has a good chance at making it, obviously we talk about Sturgis working his magic. Overland was way off the pace on that run, trying to conserve fuel, and he's likely going to end up here, maybe with a top 5 finish, if he can pull off some magic here.
Hey, I'll tell you what, Tim, real quickly too. 97 Carson Downs, the one that brought out the caution, he will be 3rd for the restart. Now you might have flat spotted the tires. We know he was running low on fuel, but now could this gamble be working since he had this long caution period and not use up a lot of racing fuel during racing mode? Could he probably make a run to roll the dice and get the finish? We're going to find out. This is going to be an awesome finish with 2 to go.
Here they come. Jake Sturgis in the 41. A replay possibly of the Las Vegas NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship race. Pace car in. Sturgis is the leader. He goes here. Green flag flies. Little spin of the tires. Cattell is going to stack him up on the front.
Oh my.
And we have a winner.
Overland's the short end of the stick, and Sturgis will win at Homestead. Oh wow.
You knew that was bound to happen, and I'm looking back here for our points competitors here, guys. Crawford is going to be 1, 2, 3, 5, 8th, I think, and it looks like Chad Lawton made it through there, but a little bit deeper in the pack, and he's way back in the pack here. I'm not sure, guys. He's way back there? Did he make it through cleanly?
It looks like he did. It looks like they're actually going to be... Well, I'm not sure what they're going to be after this. I'm not sure what's going to happen here. Let's just wait for the timing scoring to cycle back around. All right, Crawford is indeed up to 8th. Lawton should be back to 14th. That's a 6-spot difference. So that's 4 points for the 83.
Tough break, guys. Brandon Cattell in the 14 on the restart to the outside lane, stuck it 3 wide, hit the outside wall, collected another contender that was doing a great run, Josh Berry, and then he collected the 47 of Chris Overland. 3 cars coming down to the finish, wreckers or checkers, and that proved here tonight at Homestead, Tim Terry.
And Jake Sturgis on fuel mileage will win the Homestead Miami Speedway round number 9 of the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series. Jackpot Jake Sturgis cashes in again. Peter Bennett comes home in 2nd, Carson Downs in 3rd, Josh Berry in 4th, and Dustin Montgomery in 5th. Jarrett Crawford finishes 8th. Chad Lawton finishes 13th. As Mike mentioned, there's a little bit of a swing there, and keep in mind, Jarrett Crawford led the most laps, led a lap. Going to get a couple of more bonus points on that as well, and I'm sure we'll look at the points before we do go off the air here this evening on ETV Live. Guys, is the 41 at fuel?
Maybe he's saving fuel for the burnout, but he's definitely not running, Tim.
I can tell you guys, as soon as the caution came out, I heard a high rev, like he clutched it while he had the throttle pedal in, but he did go to save fuel, so I think that he's either close on fuel or out. One of the two was Landon Huffman right behind him right now, guys.
What a show,
Give him a little bump draft to victory lane, fellers.
Yeah, I think Danny Hansen gave him a little bump, but a bump on the side, a little side draft is definitely not going to help him, as he's still rolling around here at about 80 miles an hour. I see Joey Brown is getting ready to give him a little bit of push if he needs it. They're going to work past the pace car. Brown going to light his back bumper up there and give the 41 a little bit of a shot, what he needs to get by to the front straightaway, and I'm not sure how much of a burnout is going to be here, but nevertheless the 41 is going to roll down to the front, going to stop it here. Does he have anything left? Sure he does. Jake Sturgis is your winner. We step away for just a few moments' time, and we will bring you back with the post-race show where we will talk to your top finishers from Homestead.
Hi.
Inside SimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Time is running out. We've got 5 laps to go. Huffman and Vincent battle it out for the lead. Meanwhile, Chad Cole dukes it out for second as they go into turn 2.
Landon Huffman coming to a comfortable lead, coming out of 2. He's got about 8 car lengths. Put it half a second over the wing distance as Chad Cole works the number 2 spot.
And the winner in race number 1 of the chase for the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series Championship and the Bob and the race team made in $400 will be Landon Huffman in his Chevrolet 65. Huffman goes to 1.
You're back.
Welcome back to ETV Live in round number 9 of the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series, the Homestead Miami Speedway. And once again, Jake Sturgis cashes in on fuel mileage and wins round number 9. Peter Bennett comes home in second, Carson Downs third, Josh Berry, Dustin Montgomery, your top 5, Kashiba, Josh Lawton, Jarrett Crawford, Andrew Fash the third, and Chris Overland complete your top 10. Down to victory lane, Mike Conti with your winner.
I just want to say, first and foremost, congratulations, Jake Sturgis, picking up your first NASCAR Racing Pro Series win of the 2012-2013 season. Jake, you played some nice strategy tonight. Kind of was reminiscent to when you won the race at Vegas in the DWC Series last season. Tell us when you started to think about that strategy, and just when you saw that you could make it, how much fuel were you really saving throughout the run? How much fuel did you have left at the end?
Well, actually, if we didn't get that caution, I wasn't going to make it. I was about 2.5 laps short, and the start of that run, I was going all out, and then I realized it was pretty close, so I was shutting it off, entering every turn, and just riding it out. I was about to pit, I think probably 2 more laps, and then the caution flew, and I just shut it off and rode around.
So Jake, getting this win tonight, I know that's a huge confidence booster. You've had some great runs the whole season, a couple top 5s, a bunch of top 10s, just a lot of solid runs. I believe going into next week at Charlotte, the finale, you should be locked in to the 2013 DWC season. Coming off of a mediocre 2012 DWC campaign, you've run really strong in the NIPS this season. Let's have some foresight. What do you look for next season in the 2013 NISWC campaign?
Well, we're always looking for more wins, but we got to be realistic, and I just want to go out there and have fun every week. And even if I end up in the bottom 25 again back in the Pro Series, seems like I'm much more competitive here, so it's actually a lot more fun.
All right, Jake, I don't want to hold you much longer. I know you got a lot of teammates who want to celebrate with you. Before I let you go, just let us know who makes it happen for you.
I'd like to thank the guys over at Last Row Motorsports. Go over to lastrowmotorsports.com. We just threw up the website Saturday, and it's got some cool stuff on there, including the live stream of the race. And if it wasn't for those guys, I wouldn't be up front every week. It's Joey Brown over there making real good setups, and that's the main reason why I'm running up front now compared to DWC, where I don't even think we did any setup work. We just show up every week and try to have fun. But thanks to Joey Brown, Nick Morse, Charlie Foster, my brother PJ, Joe Quinn, Brandon Bookberger, Vinny Sansone. I'm gonna forget somebody, but thanks to all those guys, and thanks to ETV.
All right, Jake, congrats on your win tonight. Before I let you go, just want to let you know that you are 4th in points going into the finale, 1 point behind Montgomery. So good luck next week. See if you can't pick up a podium finish in this 2012-2013 NIPS season. I'm going to send it down to Tim Terry, who I believe has caught up with our 2nd place finisher, Peter Bennett.
Indeed, I have. Peter Bennett comes home in position number 2. First of all, Peter, let's talk about that strategy that brings you home in position number 2.
I knew right from the green flag and that last stint that I was going to try to save fuel and try to make it, and I was going to be able to make it. I was perfect. I know Jake was going to be a little short, and if that caution didn't come out, I think I might have been able to get the win.
You talk about the caution and the restart. What's going through your mind with 2 laps to go, knowing some guys around you might be short on fuel?
I know the top 4 was 3 of them were Last Row Motorsports, so I felt pretty comfortable being around them, and I knew most of their strategies fuel-wise. So I was just looking to get a good start, not spin the tires, and I figured a quick caution would probably come out, and I got lucky, came home 2nd.
Hard to believe it's first top 5 of the season for this 31 team, but you're 6th place in the point standings. We have 1 week to go. How big is this heading into next week?
It's great. I never expected to be doing this well in the Pro Series. I came in just trying to finish top 25 every race, and the goal was always just to make DWC. Going in, I wanted a top 10 finish, and I got 2 this year. I'm really lucky. So I'm in a great position.
And now you mentioned that big thing, NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship, top 25 in this series to get in there. You're 6th place in points. Has it sunk in yet that you're going to be in that series in 2013?
I don't think it'll sink in until we get the green flag at Daytona. But it's always been my goal to make DWC, and I'm just really proud of my team that how hard we worked this season.
Sponsors on the car, teammates, who makes it happen for you each week?
Unique Signs and Design. Dylan Schmidt paints my cars. He does a really good job. Last Row Motorsports, like Jake said, we just threw up a new website, lastrowmotorsports.com. My spotter, Dylan Cece, I want to thank him a lot. He does a great job for calling out the wrecks and everything, and everyone on the team.
Peter Bennett comes home with position number 2. Great run for the 31. Carson Downs, I believe, is still picking clovers out of his number 97 car, so we're going to go down to Wesley Outland with Josh Berry.
Yeah, strolling here along pit road, and I know, Josh Berry, this is not the type of interview you wanted, being in fourth space. Obviously a top 5 finish, but talk about that last restart. Records or checkers, pretty much, right, fella?
Yeah, with how all that worked out, I actually come out pretty good in that deal. I was on pit road when the caution come out, so I put 2 on it, and I was hoping to restart a little higher than 6th. That was pretty. I would have probably bet my life savings that somebody would have crashed on that restart, and they did. Luckily, I was able to get through it, so it wasn't too bad. But all in all, it was not a bad finish. I'd have liked to seen it play out how with out the caution, or I'd have liked to seen it green because it was we were going places.
No doubt about it. Of course, settling for the number 4 position after that incident. What can you take out of this race here tonight at Homestead to prepare for Charlotte? Always a wild race at the Mecca Motorsports next Tuesday night for the finale.
Yeah, it should be a good race. I'm excited for it. I think I've really been running a lot better here lately, so we'll just see what we can do. I mean, you never know with these races. Sometimes, right there, the top 5 the whole race. I was the only one. I think me and Dustin were the only one to stay there, and that was barely. So there's no telling what can happen in these races. But all you can do is try to give yourself the best car and the best shot to get a good finish. And if it don't work out, then that's all you can do.
You got to throw out your sponsors, buddy?
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone at Cecil Crum Motorsports. They've been putting in a lot of work. I think now, since I last spoke with y'all, we had our 3rd shop guy, so we're really moving up, getting ready for the DWC. And I just want to thank my crew chief, Mason Dunn. He did a great job calling the race, and Jeremy Allen spotting. He also jacks and spots, so it was a good job by those guys. I'm just proud to get them a top 5.
And, of course, guys, not only is he a racer in the sim world for the NASCAR iRacing Pro Series program here tonight, but he also is a real race car driver at the Motor Mile Speedway, Al Schuler's Motor Mile Speedway in Radford, Virginia. He'll settle for 4th tonight. And tell you what, Tim Terry, I thought it would be a little bit more of a heartbreaking interview after what happened to Barry, but he settles with 4th, and he's high spirits going to Charlotte next week.
And he's locked into that NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship to boot with 1 week to go in the Pro Series. Dustin Montgomery comes home in position number 5. Dustin did a lot of chasing tonight with that number 83 in front of you. Walk us through a night at Homestead.
Yeah, really good car. Kept getting behind on pit road or losing some spots on a restart, but car's definitely good. Jared had a great car too. It was just maybe missed the setup just a little bit. So I got to thank all the women guys. Great car.
Top 5 run, of course, fuel strategy came into play on this one. I'm sure it's not what you wanted here from the Homestead Miami Speedway, but let's look at the positives. 3rd place in the point standings, and it looks like you and Jake Sturgis going to come down to the wire in this one. 1 point unofficially between you two heading into the finale.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Charlotte. Looking forward to actually get this season over with and go back to having fun. But I had a lot of fun in this race. That's why I'm not too disappointed. Sometimes better be lucky than good. But racing Jared, it's always a pleasure to race with those guys. And probably the hardest I've drove all season long was, as you can see, made a couple mistakes. But
we look forward to Charlotte next week, and you mentioned it. Can we finish off this season with a victory?
Yeah, I think so. One of us women guys always have good cars. And, you got 5 cars show up with a chance to win. It raises the odds. So, yeah, it'll be a good race.
Before we let you go, sponsors on the card, teammates that help you get to the track each week. Who makes it happen for Dustin Montgomery?
Thank Kyle Hudson. He's come on and sponsored me for Pro TDS delivery. That's been a great help. And the guys at Willman work all week, every day, making the cars. Just a pleasure to drive. It's fun to race when you're competitive like this, and I really, really appreciate what they do.
And that's Dustin Montgomery coming home in position number 5. I see Carson Downs hasn't joined us, but Mike Conti, I don't know who you're over there. Chris Overland, is that you?
Yeah, there he is. Well, Chris, I can't really sound excited because I have to say I was watching you save fuel to back, and you're really off the pace the whole run. You're 22 seconds behind, but obviously you were saving fuel. Just tell me what your thoughts were going to that last run with that strategy.
Well, it could be somewhat similar to a 13-year-old girl at a Justin Bieber concert, because every single lap I'd be told, such and such is pitting, such and such is pitting. You're so far ahead of them. You're a lap and a half ahead of Dustin Montgomery or somebody else who pitted. And I kept looking at the fuel gauge, and it wasn't going down. It wasn't going down. And we got down to less than 15 to go, and I thought, I'm going to win this race. And I just kept seeing more and more people on pit road, and my hopes were just rising to the top. And then I saw that Pro Geek car very off the pace, and it was basically like getting shot in the heart.
Yeah, that was, I mean, being part of Jay's show, I can say it was a pretty big train wreck, and I think everyone over there would agree with me. Well, going into next week, I mean, are we going to see you next week at Charlotte, Chris?
Well, if things had played out better tonight, I would be right up on it. Because had I won this race, I would still have a mathematical chance at making the 2013 DWC, but the turn of events basically locked me out. So I think that I'm going to let the guys in the top 25 battle it out. So I think this is the last you guys will see from me for another at least 3 months. But it's a great way to end the season. Great way to end my Pro Series career for the time being. The guys at Schmitten, Kenneth O'Keefe helped me save fuel, Alex Warren, and they were more than willing to help me and work with me on things like that to help me get the win. And didn't work out the way that we wanted to, but I still had a blast.
Well, Chris, I can honestly say that you made a good return to the series, and whenever you do decide to come back, we'll definitely keep our eye on you. Hopefully it'll be next year's Pro Series. Hopefully you can get back into that, because tonight I got pretty excited watching you, so I want to see more of that. So hope to see you back next year. Before I let you go, one last time, tell me who makes it happen for you.
Well, let's see here. Since it's my last time, we're going to run through them all, I guess. I'd like to thank Steve Lovender at TrainingPaints.com, JD Laird, let's see, Tim's Corner Motorsports, the guys at Schmitten Chassis Works for helping me be in their company and just helping me all through the season, GSRacing.net, Scott Granberg. Well, it's been a while since I've done this, so I forgot. My girlfriend watching. Hi. Let's, yeah, I can't think of any more. I'm kind of zoned out. A little bit disappointed.
Well, that's okay. That's okay, because your racing and your strategy spoke for you tonight, so you don't have to say a word. Don't say a word, Chris. Good run tonight, and keep in touch.
Will do. You guys have fun up here.
All right, that's a dejected CO47 Tim. Back to you.
That might rank right up there with the Brian Blackford, Brian Schoenberg interview from last year. Wesley Outland, final thoughts on today's race here at the Homestead Miami Speedway?
Well, the torch is lit. I can just say that much. And if you want to talk about momentum going into the final race in Charlotte next Tuesday night, you definitely want to tune into the final for the NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series. I'm telling you, it has been exciting. Only, 2 or 3 times I've been able to be brought in. Thanks for bringing me into the broadcast tonight, working pit road. And I'm telling you, if you've got somebody that you're thinking is going to win the title, don't count your chickens before they hatch, and don't even worry about them warming up their pipes just yet, like they always say about the fat lady singing, because it's going to come down to that checkered flag waving at Charlotte next Tuesday to decide who the 25 best that are going to the DWC after the NASCAR iRacing Pro Series, guys. And if everything works well, I hope to work with you at Charlotte next Tuesday night.
Mike Conti, final thoughts before we leave here. It's going to be exciting. Right now, Rob Ackley on the bubble, if you take out Kenneth O'Keefe's name there. Connors is 10 points back. Brandon Buchberger is about, I want to say about 15, 16-ish on back. Savalainen is 20 back. Gatula and Jarl Tynan and Vinny Sansone and Dylan Duval. We're going to factor in some drops here, but they have a long way to go and only one race to get there. But here's the big number, and mind you, we talk about drops. We'll bring those in next week. It's 6 points between your top two.
Yeah, it's really close for first. It's really close for fifth, and it's still really close for 25th. I think with Josh Connor's actions tonight, I think it's safe to say that his goose is cooked, and he will not be making it into the next season. Pretty sure he will be suspended for next week after his incident with Danny. I'm going to say objectively, I don't blame Connors at all for what he did. Again, he's going for a spot in the most prestigious series we have here on iRacing, and unfortunately, his night was ended prematurely when he was running in a very good spot. So, Connors, he did what he felt he had to do, and he's always a nice guy, and I guess his temper just boiled over, and he did something that I bet he'll probably regret one day. But either way, a great race, a lot of action, a lot of drama. I really hope, I really wish that Carson wouldn't have spun out there at the end. We were going to have a great race. I really think that Chris Overland had that thing won. And what a story that would have been if he could have come back from I don't know what it was, a 3-month hiatus, and come back to win this thing in his first race back. But either way, Jake Sturgis gets the win. Congratulations to him. He had the right strategy in the end. And again, we'll go into next week at Charlotte, and hopefully we'll have just as good a race there.
It should be an exciting way to close off this NASCAR iRacing.com Pro Series season, and glad you could be along with the ETV crew on the ride to determine who picks out the top 25 golden tickets for that NASCAR iRacing.com Series World Championship. If you're looking for some racing action, ETV Live has some action coming up the next 2 nights. We also have the RSR on Thursday. We have the Maritime iRacing League coming up as well tomorrow evening. Going to be exciting here on ETV Live. Make sure you come back and join us tomorrow night and the rest of the week. That's going to do it for us here this evening. For Dakota Ehrman, Wesley Outland, Mike Conti, John Westling, JD Webb, my name is Tim Terry, saying that we will see you next week when we say let's go racing at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Keep the hammer down, and we'll see you at the track.